Fire me up, Brady! Ah! Let's go!
This guy's silky. Let's go. Everyone up now. Everyone up. I need everybody up. Long time no see. It's been forever. Just kidding. It's been like 12 hours. We're back. Lee Grossman, Justin Lynch, Tassos, Kirkos, Raven Gasser, everybody here today. Packed show. We got a Mount Rushmore to do. We've got an amazing interview that we did yesterday with Rudy Hodgson that's going to be coming at the end of the program. Blackhawks win yesterday. The team meeting worked, Justin. How do you feel?
Yeah, no, I'm really happy at the team meeting at game 79 of 82 worked really
Thank
well.
God.
That's awesome. I'm really glad that that's something we've totally haven't been doing all season. So, yeah, team definitely needed a meeting after that 5-0 loss versus the Pens, and glad they responded with a 5-goal game of their own, right? Soda with the belt. Outstanding game from him last night. Love to see it. Kevin Korchinski. Hi, Kevin, getting the board last night. 3 goals in a minute 33. I'd love to know the last time the Hawks had that type of a goal spurt in like that little amount of time. And it came from this 2025 Blackhawks team where the only way that's happening on them. So, no, good win yesterday. Happy Friday. I think Friday is always better after Hawks win, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. It definitely is. And before we get into anything more, everyone here right now, like this video. Like this video right now. Let's boost it up a little bit. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not yet. Follow us on Instagram. We just hit 1,400, right? 1,400 followers on Instagram yesterday. So cool little milestone for us. Subscribe. Follow the TikTok, the Twitter. Like 5 stars on Apple Podcasts.
Tell a friend.
Tell a friend. Tell a friend. Or 2 or 5 or 10 friends. 10 friends if you want. All right, let's get into it. You did a little brush over there quickly. Main takeaways from last night.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we said in the post game kind of jokingly, but like at this point with this little amount of games left, like every time the Hawks get a W here, treat it like it's the last one, right? So we never know. Hopefully it's not the last one. We have 3 more opportunities left here to get some more, but it could be, right? Tie the amount of wins from last season there. So no, I think just overall main takeaway, positive game. Good to see. I think team definitely needed that. They responded well after a rough game, which is what you want to see. So against the Bruins team, it obviously isn't very good. They're kind of entering our realm right now, the rebuild realm, and we'll see how long it takes them to get out of it. But kind of familiar territory for us. We've been there, done that. We've been doing it the last few years, so they'll get to experience what that's like. But no, I think just overall positive game for the Hawks, and we head to the weekend here. Last home game of the season versus the Winnipeg Jets. Hope we can get some carryover there.
Yeah, I think it's a big positive. I don't know how far this team is away from like true contention, but it's little habits like this. It's little things like that where you have an atrocious game where you get stomped 5-0 against an opponent you feel like you should beat because you beat them 2 days prior. And so to have the response like they did last night, it's just very positive. And even if the score didn't end up being as good as it was, I think just like the full 60-minute effort. The first period was but it wasn't like as bad as we've seen throughout this year. So to respond back from that Pittsburgh game and to have the performance yesterday, it's a big positive because that's a big part of winning during this 82 game season. Like it's a long season. And so there's going to be wins, there's going to be losses, there's going to be bad losses that really knock you down. And so with this young group, it would have been so easy to just, you get pumped by the Pens, you go straight on the road into Boston, lose that to come back home, play the President's Trophy, probably the President's Trophy winner, Winnipeg Jets, get stomped by them, and then play your last 2 games on the road and lose those 2. So good to see that not happen and pick up a win. I know we got a lot of clips and stuff. We talked about it a bit last night. Soda got the game belt after the game. How'd you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, pretty well deserved. I mean, I'm not really sure who else you would give it to. I mean, I know Foligno had a multi-goal game, but like the last one was an empty netter, and like a lot of guys had single kind of point efforts there. So, no, Soda was a difference maker, right? 5-2 game, but he's the reason we won. 31 saves at 33 shots. The first win he's had in a while. First game he's had in a while. We've seen a lot of Spencer Knight. we've seen someone Spencer Knight. I watched Soderblom for 60 minutes and almost forgot that he was in the net. I put Spencer Knight in my post-game win post. Had to take that down. So yeah, I've just grown so used to Knight. Like I kind of forgot Soda existed, but he comes back in net and looked fantastic. Well, that's the best game we've seen out of Soderblom in a while. I think this season that looks more like what we've been used to him, this year. I think his game kind of fell off a little bit when Spencer Knight came in, but he looked more like the Arvid we've grown used to this season, which is what you want to see. I think he's going to be a guy here. I think Spencer Knight's going to be the guy, but he could be the guy behind him, the backup, the fringe starter, whatever you want to call it, the 1A, 1B. He could be that guy. So, no, I think that's going to be a hell of a tandem for the future for us, and just good to see him have a good confidence boosting game for him. I think when you get that little amount of action lately, it's like when you do get it, you got to make a difference, right? Could be the last game we see of him all season. I don't think so. I think after a game like that, you get him back in at least one more time. We'll see which game they end up choosing there, but we have a back-to-back to end the year, so I think he draws back in for one of those, but Knight probably starts the last game at home. But no, fantastic game for Soda, and just happy for him.
I was dying laughing when I saw your Beehawks meme post after that. You could have left the Spencer Knight meme in and just like pretended like it was intentional, and I would have been like, yeah, dude, of course he's gonna glaze a guy who didn't even play tonight. That would have been so on brand, and I wish you did, but it was a banger. It was a banger Beehawks memes post yesterday. But yeah, it was really good to see. Not only did the Blackhawks bounce back, but to see Soda bounce back like that after, probably a few disappointing performances from him, to go into the TD Garden and look and play like that. He probably had, I said it yesterday on the post game and during the live stream, like he had like 4 or 5 saves that he straight up shouldn't have made, like just ridiculous saves. So great. Dude, we talk about it all the time. Goaltending is it's a mental game, and it's all about confidence. And so good to see Soda pick that up at the end of the season.
Lee, I just figured it out, man. I just figured out what happened.
What?
You know why Soderblom had that game last night?
Why?
Because he got his night soda. He's one of the only goalies to ever face Alex Ovechkin. He got that Budweiser. I guarantee you must have hammered that before the game. It was like the Half-Blood Prince there. When Ron Weasley has like the potion there to help him, or he thinks he does. Harry Potter sneaks that in his drink there in his breakfast and thinks he's got liquid luck and has the game of his life as the keeper for Gryffindor. That was Arvid Soderblom last night. Dude, he was playing out of his mind. He slammed that night soda Budweiser after never letting Odie score a goal, and he has the absolute monster game. First star of the game, belt for the Blackhawks.
What is going on, fellas?
Arvid Soderblom to Gryffindor confirmed here on CHR. Talks with Kyle Davidson and the Gryffindor exec, and Soda wants to be going over to play with Harry Potter. So that's Harry Potter talk brought to you by CHR. Before we move on from Soderblom, can we hear the Soda? We've got a clip from him. Can we hear our netminder?
Yeah, Weasley.
Yeah, you're gonna have to give me a second,
Okay.
fellas.
I mean, I could do another 30 seconds on
Do
Harry
it.
Potter.
Do another 30 seconds.
Weasley.
So how does this affect? How does Soderblom's performance last night affect Harry Potter's legacy? Would you say?
Okay, I got it. Relax.
What did you see out there tonight?
I think we played a solid game. I think we had the competitiveness. I think we were working hard, competing. I think we were pretty strong around both nets. Maybe gave up a little too much, but we were there on the second chances and took away rebounds and sticks. So yeah, I think we were competing, and then the game. You get rewarded and win games when you compete. So yeah, it was fun to see.
For you haven't gotten a ton of starts lately. Is it hard to kind of not put too much pressure on when you finally get one to not?
No, not really. I feel like I'm still on the ice every day. I play hockey every day, so game practice doesn't really matter for me. I'm trying to do the same thing every day, just trying to get better. So just having those habits every day makes it easier when you get the chance to be ready.
I love that answer from him. Like not being like pressure, not putting too much pressure on himself, because he's only gotten a couple starts in the past, however, like 10 games or so. I mean, that's what you want to hear, and especially if we've talked about how like this guy could be the potential, this could be the potential tandem, this could be the 1A, 1B, this could be your backup. So that's like the answer you want to hear from him, right? Like just saying that it doesn't bother him. He's playing hockey every day. He's going to be locked in no matter what.
Well, when you're a backup goalie, it's like you got to take advantage of every opportunity you get, right? Because they're very limited, compared to starters. So when you're not really the guy, but you always got to be ready to go, right? And I think that's just the mentality you got to have. He says that like he didn't feel any pressure, but like there was a lot of pressure on him. I think there definitely is a lot of pressure. I think he's faced it this season head on. I think he has the right mentality for a goalie. Just seems super composed, just mentally doesn't really let anything get to him, which is exactly what you want out of a netminder. So
Yeah.
no, just pleased. I think a solid performance from Sodi, which is what you want to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also just the start of that clip, he talked about the team's competitiveness and like after the team meeting. I wasn't at the team meeting. I think I should have been invited to the team meeting, but I wasn't there. But I'd imagine that the discussion was about putting in that, like being really conscious of putting in that effort the entire game, regardless of the score, regardless of where they're at in the standings, just being like really conscious of that and trying to be like locked in and dialed in the entire game. And I think we saw that yesterday.
Oh, to be a fly in the wall in that Anders Sorensen team meeting. I don't really think it was him. It was probably player driven. But no, I think it's just this time of year, it's establishing good habits, right? I think it's easy when you're 31st in the standings, you have a few games left to kind of mail it in, just kind of finish the season and get to the end of it. But these are the times now for if you're a young player in this Hawks team to establish yourself, establish your role, make an impression, and just establish those good habits, right? Because I think it'll benefit you in the long run. So I think just seeing that last night, especially of a very young group, and you look, we could talk about that defense again, man. Like every single defender in that game was a young defender, man. Alex Vlasic was our oldest guy, 23. Everybody else under the age of 23. Artie Levshinov, Sam Rizzel, Ethan Domasho was just sent back down to Rockford to help the Ice Dogs fuel up for the Calder run. Louis Crevier, all these guys, Korchinski. It's like it was a very young defense we saw last night, and I thought they held their own. I thought they looked good in front of Soda. So it's a good sign.
Yeah, not the best offensive team there, but I mean, you got one of the best, scorers in the league in David Pasternak, and I mean he did get 2 points yesterday, but still it's no easy task. So
that's it. I mean nothing else.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry,
No. We do keep saying that Vlasic was the oldest. I think Crevier is like 2 months older than Alex Vlasic, but he's also 23 years old, so it's like the same thing. So it doesn't matter. But I just,
really, because he's a 2020 draft pick and Vlasic's a 2019.
I'm pretty sure someone tweeted that Crevier was the oldest and he's 23. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone lied on Twitter, but that's just what I saw.
Well, as we know, Hawks Twitter is never wrong about anything. So yeah.
I've got great news for everybody watching the show. It's become a common theme on here that there's a certain someone that we really like to hear his thoughts after the game. And, some people complain, some people love it. I guess he's a polarizing figure. But could we dive into this Anders Sorensen clip and hear his post-game thoughts?
Sorry, fellas, we're working through some Wi-Fi stuff right now. So,
speaking of Anders Sorensen, he was just named to Team Sweden's World Championship team. There, he's going to be a part of that coaching staff. So, I don't know how much Blackhawks hockey the Swedish staff has been watching, but why they decided that he would be the coach for them. But I guess they don't want to win in their home country. So, but congrats to Sorensen there. Yeah.
Based on that headline, that doesn't sound like verbiage you'd use if he's the head coach, right? Like I think I don't know.
It just says a part of the coaching staff.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's the only guy that's coaching in the NHL. So I think just by that, they're like, sure, we'll bring him. But, dude, I mean, good for Anders Sorensen climbing the ladder, the career ladder a little bit this year with getting this opportunity with the Blackhawks. I mean, dude, I think he'd be a good assistant coach. I just
he's not an NHL head coach, right? He's an assistant or AHL guy, minor league, maybe a Swedish league SHL head coach. I don't know, but it's a good opportunity for him, right? To be on the big stage there and see. I mean, I'm sure he's probably assistant. I doubt he's ahead, but yeah, we'll see what he can do there.
Yeah, and he was very proud of the fact that he was chirping the refs a bit last night after a no call on Connor Bedard. Good to see out of him. That means he's improving. Next year, Justin, we might have to call back on Anders Sorensen. It might be Anders Sorensen next year.
He's praising himself for doing his job, what he's supposed to do. It's like, yeah, when the refs make a bad call, you should be getting on them. I think any coach in the NHL should be doing that. So it's like, yeah, no, great job, Sorensen, for finally, starting to get some pushback there. I think he talks about that in the clip, I think, if we want to
do we
get
have
to
the clip?
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I have it ready.
Okay.
Sorry, hold on. Whoops, sorry, forgot this is a podcast. We're supposed to talk or be playing something.
I turned on in that third period.
Is it going? I have no audio, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just made some plays when the game was on the line, right? I think that was something that we missed in the second. I thought we did in the third. We made a couple of quick adjustments in our neutral zone going into the third, and it worked.
Did you see any direct carryover from that post-game meeting in Pittsburgh to tonight?
I thought the first period was good, yeah. Yeah, and then it was a good response, right? And then the third, we self-inflicted a little bit, but we got through it. Sody was great. And then, we made a push in the third.
It seemed like Bedard had a couple of untimely penalties. One wiping out a power play. Is that something that he just grows out of, or you talk to him and remind him about the situation?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the game. I think there's some frustration there at times, but he's a young kid. He's learning, but he knows. I think he should have gotten a call again. As we were barking a little bit at the ref there. You like that, right? Because he had a scoring chance and got hooked and didn't get the call, right? So there were some frustrations there.
Yeah, fair point. Korchinski getting.
I love that. I love Anders Sorensen. This is becoming an Anders Sorensen fan channel, I think. I think this is going to become Anders Sorensen Hockey Radio.
Oh, no, we can't be gassing him up too much. The Hawks should actually consider him for their next head coach there, because he really isn't, if we're being honest here. He's the interim guy. He's not even really officially the coach of this team. It's like, please don't tell me we're actually considering this guy, because no, absolutely not.
I do. Like, as the season has gone on, he has progressively given a little more to the media. He's like learned to like actually, answer the questions. Hey, and I like hearing the little attitude out of him there.
You like that? He thinks he's Kirk Cousins over there, man.
No, absolutely. Yeah. No, but I don't know what else to expand on as we every Anders Sorensen clip. He tends to just kind of say what happened in the game. He he doesn't like, I don't know. He doesn't like expand on thoughts. He was asked if the team meeting, if it like carried over in the game. And he was like, we were good in the first. And it's like,
well, they won 5-2 after a 5-0 loss. So like, I don't even think you would need to ask that. Of course, there definitely was some carryover there. You can infer that. But the one thing I will give Sorensen credit for is like he was put into a very tough situation here, right? He's obviously coaching the Ice Hawks team October, November, and then just suddenly thrown into this sinking ship of a Blackhawks team after Luke Richardson's fired in December. So there's really no time to, assimilate his system. Like, he didn't really have an offseason to work with, right? Kind of just learned to, forced to kind of, get with this team on the fly. So that's tough. Adjusting the NHL for the first time in this type of team, in this situation, it's a tough thing to do. So I think all things considered, he could have done worse. Could have done better too. But there are worse options to have here. But at the same time, it's like, no, that's not the guy for the future. He's a fill-in placeholder.
Yeah, and I know we do give him a lot of shtick, but like it wasn't the best situation to walk into by any
absolutely
means.
Not.
Like where this team was at under Luke Richardson, like it's not like he was going to be able to turn this club around into a playoff team this season. But I think he's done as good as he probably possibly could have. This year. And I wish all the best of luck to him after this season, because I can't imagine he's going to be returning next year. Maybe he'll go back to Rockford. We will see.
Plus just the roster turnover too. It's like this team looks a lot different now than it did, pre-sorts. And so he's had to adjust a lot of players, making their debuts, adjusting in the NHL for the first time. But that's kind of why he was put there, right? He's supposed to be a development guy. That's what he's known for, right? There's a reason he was coaching the Hawks to begin with. So that's why he's supposed to be good with. So, but no, best of luck for him. He definitely has a future. not with the Hawks, but he has a future somewhere in
Yeah,
hockey.
and it
Yeah.
probably is with the develop. Like I don't know. Every time the camera would pan to the bench, I feel like you'd see a lot of clips of him talking to young guys like Oliver Moore and Renzel and Bedard and Nazar, and so it seems like the guys like him, and so I think he's I could see him having a role on another organization or just back with Rockford again, just for the development side of things. On the other hand, someone who's not on the development side of things, Nick Foligno had a 2-goal game last night, one of them being an empty netter. But it's good to see our captain back on the board. This year, it's not like it's been a disappointment, I'd say. Like, I haven't been disappointed with Nick Foligno this year. I'd say that's about what I'd expect from a 36-year-old veteran playing on the third line this season, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at last season, like the stats are pretty much the same. I think he had 17 goals, 20 assists last year. This year he has 14 goals, 19 assists. So he's performed around the same on the ice. And I think off the ice, obviously, he's had a bit more responsibility being the captain. But like he kind of already was the captain last year, just didn't have the C on his chest. Like he's always kind of been the guy who's at the media, definitely talking the most in the room, being a mentor to the young guys. And he's had a hell of a lot more young guys to mentor on this Hawks team. So no, I think Foligno, look, I've said it before, like one of the few vets I I won't complain about. I think he's done his job, to the best that he could on this team. Obviously, tough situations. So, but no, I won't. I think he's had a decent season. All things considered, and nice to see him have a nice 2-goal game there. A little bit of a callback there. Found a fountain of youth for that game last night.
Yeah, absolutely. He's stepped into the TD Garden. Was like, it's my time. Can we listen to the Blackhawks captain? We've got a little clip from him as well.
I mean, I think we had a little bit of a, not slower start, but just trying to get to our game. And then once you saw us get a little confidence, we tie it up, and you could just see our confidence start to come with just making the right plays. I thought early on, especially against this team, we tried a little bit of the cross-ice stuff, and as soon as we started playing low and heavy and through checks, our offense comes to life. So I hope it's a good lesson for our group because of how disappointing it was in Pittsburgh to see that when you play like that, you get rewarded. The pretty goals come. Guys scored beautiful goals today, and it came from just getting it simple, but they look beautiful, and I think that's what we're trying to hammer home here. Yeah. I mean, that's huge. I think just that's what our team is capable of doing, though, right? And there's skill in this team, and there's guys that can put the puck in the net, but you got to give yourself the opportunity to do it. And some nights it doesn't come in bunches; it comes sporadically, and you got to be smart in order to keep the lead in the game. And but today it came in that spurt, and we were able to hold on and get a big win.
Funny.
I sent last night into the Instagram DM group chat a post. It was just somebody made a graphic basically trying to make the worst team in the NHL. And so they were picking the worst of like every category, whether it was like forward group, arena, coach, captain. And the captain was Nick Foligno. And that rubbed me the wrong way because maybe Nick Foligno isn't the most talented captain in the NHL. I know he's on the older side of things, but like Nick Foligno is not going to be around for when this team is competitive and like good. But this entire time that he's been captain, the entire time he's been with the Blackhawks, he's never lost sight of like the big picture. He's always referring to the team and like things they can learn and things they can get better at. And it's like he's not even going to be around to see the fruits of his labor, but yet he's still doing that. And I really rate that. Like I respect the hell out of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think that's the wrong way to rate captains that they did in the post. I think they're doing it just based off of like production, like stats, like in terms of productivity. It's like I think you should be rating captains by how good of a leader they are. It's like I think Foligno has never lost the room, right? Obviously, all the young guns clearly respect him, right? He has the respect of the room and the guys, and hell, I think they probably respect him more than a lot of the staff. So it's like, yeah, I don't really agree with that. There've been captains this year even who've been traded from their teams. So it's like I think there are worse captains in the NHL than Nick Foligno. I think he's done his job.
No, I agree. Yeah. Before we get into the last topic of this game and move on, I do want to acknowledge that chat is talking about 12 by 12 for Anders Sorensen and 8 by 8. Chat is making up some insane contracts, some potential contracts for the Blackhawks interim head coach. So I don't know how you feel about that. How do you feel about giving Anders 8 by 8 after this year?
Well, I noticed that Denver was eliminated last night, so how I feel about that is I get that 12 by 12 and give it to David Carlos. So that's how I feel about that.
Good response.
Yeah, I think Sorensen must have hired some, I don't know, people, some insiders to glaze him or something to this Hawks crowd, get his media rep up there. So, but no, I mean, look, I'm not going to, we talked about Sorensen enough.
No, we're done. You don't have to. No, that's not what I actually wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about lastly was Kevin Korchinski scoring a goal after a very bad performance in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, no, great. We talked about responses again, and we saw that response from Kevin, right? Still was a perfect game. He has moments, but look, that was a young defense. I thought he held his own. Probably the best he's looked all season up with the Hawks. So good to see that confidence out of him. Hopefully that goal brings it out more, right? We got a few games left here. Go out strong. Definitely has a laundry list of items to work on in the offseason for sure to improve and round out his game, but he's still so young, man, 20 years old. Let's not lose sight of that, right? So I think our D courts, obviously we have 3 sure things there. If we can make it 4, we're in pretty damn good shape there. So no, really pleased for Kevin. I think also just perfect that came from Bedsy too. The NHL is always glazing this Will Smith, Macklin Celebrini friendship, their BFFs having sleepovers and making TikToks of each other. So, but Betsy and Korchinski, man, those two have always had a connection. They've always been best buddies over there. You can see it just in every interaction off the ice, etc. Those two clearly get along really well. So I think just seeing Korchinski start to produce here, I think it would be nice to see maybe that same type of energy brought forth with those two, who obviously played together at the World Juniors as well. 1 gold medal, Team Canada, 2 Canadian beauties there. So yeah, I think just pleasing to see for sure.
You just want to see the NHL pushing their friendship a little more. That would make you happy.
I didn't see it in Kevin Korchinski love last night, but those two are always going to glaze the hell and back to try to hardest to make that the next Kane and Tays over there. So
are we really talking about friendships right now?
Yes. We're doing friendship, dog.
That's a valid point, though, man. It's there's been this media talk all season that Bedsy's not happy here, that he hates in Chicago. It's but yet every interaction I see with him, with this young group around him, his body language, he seems nothing but happy. So I don't know. I'm not really buying all that nonsense.
I understand the point that's being made. I'm not too bothered about the friendship thing, but I will say it was awesome to see Kevin have a moment like that, because that is just a little glimpse of what the ceiling is with that kid. And I know I've been kind of harsh on him over the past week, but it's good for all of us. It's good for everyone for him to finish this year really strong, maybe have another moment like that in these last 3 games, just because at the very least, if we keep him and we have him next year, whether he plays in the AHL or on the Blackhawks, you want to finish strong, have something to go off of, hit the ground running in the summer. And then also if you decide to use him in a trade package, it's just upping his value. So regardless, whatever the direction the Blackhawks go with Kevin Korchinski, I think it's a good thing to see him having these good moments and not dreadful games like the one against Pittsburgh. Okay.
Absolutely. I hope some of these other young Hawks on this team take inspiration from that, right?
Yeah.
Who are we picking here? Rinzel, Moore, Artie. Which of those 3 is going to score their first career goal this season? Who's it going to be? I will say it'll be Alvar Moore in the 4 core. Well, he's going to get one playing at Bedard. Yeah.
I want it to be Levshunov. He's been up here longer than those guys. Yeah. If it were up to me and I could choose which of the 3, I would probably take Levshunov, just because
Monday versus Montreal against Demidov. I see the vision.
That would be
I see the vision.
That would be perfect.
And he shuts him down. Absolutely. I changed my mind, man. I'm right with you there. Yep. I think much because that's going to be Hawks Twitter on Monday, man. Holy jumping. That's going to be quite the civil war there. So I just hope for, Hardy's sake, he has a hell of a game and shuts that Russian down. The Habs stands are over there waiting for him, stalking him at the airport. So it just shows you how mentally sane that fan base is. But no, outstanding. I want to see Levshunov definitely go off. Yeah.
They are a wild bunch, those Montreal fans. But yeah, I
They're
agree.
stalking a teenager at the airport, man. What are you guys doing? They're tracking his flights.
They're welcoming him to the city.
Sure.
Dude, it would be perfect if Levshunov just smashes him on a play and then also scores.
A good, clean, hard hit. It doesn't hurt him, but just, it rattles his cage a little bit. Dale Earnhardt Jr. style. Oh, that wasn't Dale Jr., that was his dad, Dale Sr. style. But that's what I want to see. I think that'd be a nice welcome to the NHL moment. And then he scores that same shift. But yeah, that's what I want to see. And I think just the last thing from that game, I think to get into, out the Ryan Donato 30 for 30 season, 30 goals, 30 assists, 60 points. hopefully it just ends the season like that, because I love when the numbers just line up like that, 30-30, 60-80. Hopefully that's just the way it ends. Yeah, and then Bedsy still leads the team in production.
He's going to have a secondary assist and finish with 30 and 31. But
I hate that. No. But he's had a hell of a season, and yeah, again, we talked about like so many times on the show, but we'll see what happens with his future in the contract situation. Do we want to get in the Jets game, preview that?
Yeah, before we get in the Jets game, I do, like, as we were just talking about the Habs game on Monday, we're going to be streaming the game. They're one's Monday, one's Tuesday. We're going to be streaming both of those, as well as the game this Saturday against the Jets. So
all three?
The last 3 games of the season, we are going to be streaming every single one of them here on Chicago Hockey Radio's YouTube channel. Yeah, let's get into this one. Jets on Saturday. Thank God it's at the United Center and not there, because they are so good at home. And not that it's going to matter. I don't think we're going to like beat them because we're at home. I don't know, dude, just after seeing what they did to the Dallas Stars last night, like, if Connor Hellebuck's starting, do we have any chance of winning this game?
No, the game is already over if Hellebuck started. 45 wins for him last night, which is, I think a goalie's done that in a while, right? You don't see that as much at today's game, where, you know, it's like a Marty Brodeur style where they're relying on him to, for most of the starts, and he's winning pretty much all the games. So, yeah, 112 points. I think if they win that game, I don't know if they clinch the President's Trophy, but they make it pretty much so. They're gonna, right? So we'll play for them tomorrow. Although, again, I've said it before, like, to even want to win the President's Trophy, man, it's like the last team to win the President's Trophy and the Cup was the 2013 Blackhawks. It's been a bit of a curse on that. So, but no, I think they're gonna have the best seeding in the obviously the Western Conference, so the best path there. And yeah, no, I think it's just, we'll see if it transfers to the playoffs. I think that's a question of them, right? They've had a lot of good regular seasons and then first round exits. So we'll see if it transfers to the playoffs. But no, 54 wins, 112 points. They're probably going to make it 55 against us. But hey, look, it's also our last home game of the season, right? Crazier things have happened. Bedsy scored an OT winner against the Jets in his career, right? Let's end the homestand strong here. This is a bit different team at home there, and maybe pull off an upset here. There's something we said too, where it's like the Jets, you could argue, their tickets punched, man. Like, this could definitely be a trap game where it's like, oh, you see the Hawks in the schedule and, you know, maybe take your foot off the gas versus playing a fellow playoff team like the Stars, right? So it's a different situation. So, but we'll see. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, there definitely are question marks with the Winnipeg Jets heading into the postseason just because of how they've performed in the past couple years. But dude, I don't know. After the Four Nations, Hellebuck, I thought, performed great in the Four Nations, and it just feels like he's getting hotter and hotter. Like, dude, that last night was so crazy. Like, he was so dialed in. His glove was, they couldn't get anything past him. Dallas, it's not like Winnipeg completely shut Dallas down. They didn't have any opportunities. They had some nice lanes and some clear shots on net. And dude, Hellebuck just was absolutely locked down. He was not giving up a goal. And so yeah, if he's able to take that exact same performance into Chicago, I think we're going to struggle to score. But hopefully they rest him. He doesn't play Saturday. That'd be maybe ideal for us. But yeah, dude, I could see that team doing some damage in the playoffs, just because I don't know, dude. If they get St. Louis, like, first, I know St. Louis has been like hot. I don't think St. Louis is beating this Winnipeg team. I know that's like everyone's favorite thing to talk about right now is like, St. Louis is getting hot at the right time. This is reminiscent of 2019. Dude, I don't think they're going to score on Connor Hellebuck in the playoffs. That's just what I'm saying. Dude,
that's the thing, man. Connor Hellebuck's had a lot of really good regular seasons, and all of a sudden the playoffs, it just something happens where it kind of disappears. But he did pick up the Four Nations, right? It was kind of that style of hockey, and he showed out. Like, I think that was his moment, right? I mean, obviously the U.S. weren't able to quite take home the victory there, but I think he was probably the most valuable player in the team, and I think he's been the Jets' most valuable player all season. He's the reason they're going to win the President's Trophy. He's the best goalie in the game right now. So it's like, if this Hellebuck shows up in the playoffs, yeah, they're a contender. I think that's just a question mark, right? But we'll see. I think it'll be fascinating to watch for sure. Will they be frauds? Will we see?
As far as like expectations for this game and what you want to see, dude, I just don't want the game to get away from them. Like, regardless, even if the Jets are really shutting them down offensively and they're not able to get a lot going, and Hellebuck's in net, and just don't put your foot off the gas and like give up. Like, I'm okay taking a 3-1 loss against this team, but just don't get pumped against these guys. That's my wish list.
Keep it close. Don't get embarrassed. And like, I'll say it again. I'll emphasize it, man. Like, this is your last game in the United Center until next October. It's like, there should be a lot to play for here. Us Blackhawks fans have gone through an absolute hellish season. It sucked end on a high note here, right? I mean, I know it's not over yet. You still got 2 more games, but it's like, look, make the Hawks fans proud there. It's like, if you're one of those young players, man, it's your last chance to score your first career goal at the United Center before the year's out, right? With that Madhouse and Madison bumping out. So I still think there's a lot to play for here, right? You just got a nice win last night. Let's make it 2, going a little bit of a streak here to end the season. Why not, right? Season's over, but it's like ending a high note. Yeah.
It's a great point. Like, dude, the Blackhawks fans have been through the ringer this season. I mean, and you could just go down the list from the Richardson era to the Winter Classic to back-to-back 6-2 pumpings. I mean, you name it, we've gone through it. And yet fans are still buying tickets and going to the games and supporting the team. The least the boys could do on Saturday is put up a legitimate effort and try to give the fans something to appreciate, something worth price of admission.
No, for sure, ditto. I just think the fact that the Hawks are still selling these tickets, man, it's like, what is it? Like, I think their attendance, it's been bumped up a little bit for the Winter Classic, but like they're up there, 18,000, around the same as last season, despite being, one of the worst teams in the NHL. So it says a lot there. Their fans are still showing up when other bottom feeders aren't, right? Hawks fans they're loyal. They're not bandwagoners, right? So I think just, give them something to, over this offseason enjoy here and, yeah, I think just reward their loyalty.
Yeah. And I think we do have the dynasty team to thank for this, but it's like, dude, once
there's definitely some carryover. Yeah.
Once this team is back, man, and we're competitive, and dude, like all these home games are going to be absolutely packed during the regular season.
Yes.
We're going to be seeing that place packed on a Tuesday night against the fucking Islanders, and I cannot wait for it.
We're establishing a new crowd here, man. There's a lot to look forward to. A lot of these guys are in the team now, and we still have a lot more to look forward to in the future as well. It's only going to get better from here. So I think it's just a lot of excitement here. I think I've said it before. We're past the worst days. It's only up from here. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, something that happened last night was the Frozen Four took place. We have a final of Western Michigan versus BU. Aiden Thompson, unfortunately, eliminated with the Denver team along with their head coach, David Carl.
Oh, no.
Do you see an ELC getting signed? Do you see him grabbing his coach by the collar and pulling him on the plane with him to Chicago?
Yeah, can we just fire Sorensen now and just instill David Carl for these last 3 games, get him 1 game at the UC to get acclimated there, and then have an offseason to work with? Right. Aiden Thompson, bring him with. Bring him with. Why wait? Just do it now. It's not going to happen. But, it's an offseason agenda thing. But, yeah, Thompson, we'll see. I could see him maybe signing his LC this weekend, get him on that road trip, get him a couple games, make his debut and all that. We'll see. He's old enough, too, where it's like that's definitely a guy you could assimilate, similar to Slaggert last year. So, but it is the end of the season here. It's like they probably want to give him a couple practices. So it might not happen. We'll see. But, yeah, with David Carl, the sweepstakes there have officially begun. That's for certain. I think if you're the Blackhawks, you should already. If you're Davidson, you should be talking on the phone with him right now as we're recording this podcast. Like, do not wait. Get on it now, because there's going to be a lot of takers and there's going to be a lot of suitors. And it's like I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Like, this is the most important thing this offseason: nailing a coach, getting that right. Because like even if you do absolutely nothing, you keep the same roster here. Just having a competent coach is going to make a hell of a difference next year. And it's like, obviously that's not going to be the case. You're going to adjust the roster too, right? You're going to build through the draft even more, and you're going to make those signings, et cetera, et cetera. But just the coach alone, it's like it's still a new system, and get the best out of this group. These young players' development, it's so damn crucial, man. You can't afford to get this wrong. You've already got it wrong once if you're Davidson with the coaching. You can't afford to get it wrong again. Like, it's not really a 3-strike system. It's a 2-strike system in that regard. So,
and you're completely right. There's going to be a lot of people, especially if David Carl's like, yeah, I'm ready for the NHL. Like, there's going to be a lot of teams hitting his line. So I think that the Blackhawks have a really intriguing situation for him. And so, yeah, I hope Kyle Davidson picks up the phone and opens a checkbook and makes it work. That game, I mean, dude, the Western Michigan Denver game, they played earlier in the year. And Denver was leading like 3-0, and then Western Michigan comes back and won it in overtime.
That was in the conference championship game.
Last night, Western Michigan was up 2-0, completely dominating Denver. Like after 2 periods, I think the shots were like something crazy like 30-7 or 30-8, something ridiculous. Denver comes back. I thought the script was going to be reversed and Denver was going to win in overtime, but Western Michigan was just a bit too much and got it done in double overtime. And then, Boston University beats Penn State 3-1. And the final is going to be on Saturday during the game against the Jets that we're streaming. But I think Tassos and I kind of did it yesterday, to be honest with you. Like during intermissions, of the Hawks game, we'll probably just throw that on and just keep the stream rolling. So we'll be having eyes on that for sure, as well as the Hawks game on Saturday. So tune into that stream. Tassos also wants me to stream the UFC fights that night after the fact too. So I don't know what's going to happen with the stream on Saturday, but it's going to be fun. So make sure you guys all come and hang out for that.
Got to get as much content out there as possible.
Absolutely.
Fellas.
Yes.
Doesn't matter what kind of content.
Doesn't. We're pushing everything for you guys. So that's why when we ask for the subs and the followers, and we're trying not to be greedy, but it does mean a lot to us, and so we're pushing hard.
How about Ryan Green there for BU, right? Hawks prospect there. I see him golf a W there. Yeah.
Kind of a underwhelming national championship matchup, if I have to say, right?
Yeah. I mean, they're both wagons. They both have so much like NHL talent. But yeah, I mean, I think we were all hoping for the Denver BU matchup, right?
I was hoping for one or the other, right? Either the powerhouse matchup or the upset matchup, right? Not really 1-1 there. So probably not what we were looking for there. But look, it's a championship, man. It's always going to be fun to watch. So BU's a powerhouse. Western Michigan's been a fun story. So yeah, it should be a fun game.
Western Michigan is building this facility that's going to be among the nicest, if not the nicest, in college hockey. Like somebody walked in and basically handed them a blank check and was like, build it,
and they will come. That's kind of what you got to do. Like, I mean, Grinelli for Chiclets does these, what is it called? Like Chiclets U or whatever it's called. Where
they did one with Renzel. When he was in Minnesota.
And they're awesome. But you can tell like how much those kids care about the facilities. Like it really matters to, like a 17, 18-year-old choosing what school they're going to come to. So it's like, it's not just like the success and the coaching and the program. It's like the facilities I feel like are so important for college hockey. So
that's another difference of college hockey versus juniors, where it just seems like it's more of a professional setup they're going to be used to in the pros, right? So I think that's going to be a big driver too, where it's like their players will see that and that's where they want to put their money. Yeah,
I think that's an excellent point.
I got BU taking that game.
I was just going to ask, you got BU?
Yeah.
It feels like it.
I think I'm taking Western Michigan. I feel like they are just a wagon that cannot be stopped. Decent goaltending. They've got talent everywhere. Dude, they really were dominating Denver yesterday, and then Denver made it close in the third and tied it up. So I think I'm going to take Western Michigan, try to be a little different.
Fair enough. I mean, it feels like everybody keeps writing them off. They're not writing back. It's like they're just upsetting everybody. Yep. So, good for them. In Michigan, too, it's like, how many powerhouse schools they got over there, man? You got Michigan, Michigan State, Western Michigan. It's like they're loaded over there. But it definitely is one of the powerhouse hockey states, the Big Four, for a reason. Yeah,
absolutely. Tassos, do we have some questions?
We have a lot of questions.
Let's do this mailbag to wrap up the Blackhawks hour, shall we?
All right. Friday mailbag. We answer questions every single Friday. There's two ways you can submit them to us. You can submit them via Instagram DM, or you can submit them via our Discord, which is in the description of this here episode on YouTube live right now. So we have like 5 or 6 questions here. So we'll work our way to it. There was a college hockey question, so we can start there. Who will be the next D1 program to win their first national title, with Western Michigan having the opportunity this weekend? What big programs might be next? Some notable schools without natties include St. Cloud, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Michigan State, Penn State, UMass Lowell, UConn, and of course, Western Michigan. I mean, Western Michigan, we should probably not say as an answer, considering they have
a really good opportunity to do it on Saturday.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. I'll say Michigan State, because Isaac Howard's going back there next year, which I'm not really sure why he's going back there. He had 52 points, 37 games, might win the Hobie Baker. He really doesn't need another year. Why do you think it's actually very telling that he's not going back there? Maybe he doesn't want to sign his LC with Tampa. I don't know. Maybe that's something if you're a college.
Wait. Michigan State. Michigan State's won a national championship.
Then why was it in that? I heard Michigan
I
State.
said
on that list.
Minnesota State.
You did say
Oh,
Michigan State.
I
I heard
misheard
Michigan
it.
State too because I was like, yeah,
We'll have to
Sparty.
play. We'll have to play the tapes, but I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I said
Well, I was
Minnesota
a little
State.
confused too because I'm like, really, they've never won.
Yeah,
before?
I know.
Like, that,
me too.
that
I was
felt
like,
wrong in my
that,
mind.
can't be,
have.
that can't be true.
They absolutely
Yeah.
have.
Well,
Um,
now I didn't pay attention to that list because I heard Michigan State and I was like, Isaac Howard going back, Trey Augustine going back. They're
That
probably
felt
going
too
to be a
obvious.
front runner
Yeah.
to win next
Western
year.
Michigan.
Yeah, Western Michigan. Now we're allowed to say it. Western Michigan. No, Ohio
Yeah, Western
State.
Michigan's gonna beat BU, man. It's gonna be an absolute blowout tomorrow.
I'll say
It's
Ohio
kinda
State.
shocking they haven't won it, right? I feel like when you look at powerhouse Big Ten schools, you got Minnesota, you got Michigan, you got Michigan State, but nobody Wisconsin. But then Ohio State kind of gets forgotten about. But it feels like they're kind of building something there.
Yeah.
They've been on the rise a little bit lately. They had a quietly pretty good season. I know you just said it, so I don't want to copy you. But
No, go ahead.
I'm gonna copy you. I mean, I hear Big Ten. I'm gonna go with the Big Ten. So Ohio State. Yeah.
Okay, I guess the records do show that I did say Michigan State.
Yeah, well,
but
I know, it was no question in my mind that you said Michigan State.
okay. Well, I meant Minnesota State. Sorry, Justin.
It's okay.
Oh, you're good. All good. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Minnesota
say
State though, they never won.
no. I double checked
Yeah.
that one to confirm it because I didn't believe it, and they have not. They've been to the
Wow.
Frozen Four a bunch though.
That's a good pick then. If well, I'll let you pick that one.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say Notre Dame because they got a new coach, former Chicago Wolves coach Brock Sheehan, good guy, good program, cool helmets. Everybody wants to play for the Irish. Good school, close to Chicago. We'll say them.
It's another Big Ten hockey program too. I mean, they're not really the Big Ten in most sports, but they are in hockey, and definitely been on the rise. A few Blackhawks have gone through there as well, such as Landon Slaggert. So definitely a good program there for sure. Yeah.
I really wanted Penn State to win this year a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, they unfortunately fell short to just a BU team. That was just
They
too
didn't
good.
have the
Yeah.
juice.
Well, you also wanted Jermaine Black Bears to win this year.
Okay. All of our again, this is not really college hockey radio here.
Yeah.
So
We suck.
let's see. What team do you think will get bounced in the first round that nobody might have expected?
Ooh.
Oh,
That nobody would have expected. That's the tricky part. That nobody would have expected. Well, I'll let you start, Lee.
Geez, do I want to go with this? I'm gonna say because like Winnipeg and like Washington are not good answers in my mind. I don't think that picking Colorado or Dallas is a good answer in my mind because they're playing each other and anything could happen there. I'm going to say Edmonton, even though I picked them number 2 on my contenders list. I see them either going to the Stanley Cup final or getting bounced to LA finally in the first round, especially with LA having that home ice advantage. Maybe it's the 4th time's a charm. I'll say Edmonton.
Well, you say Edmonton. I'm going to say one that I don't really believe, but it's like the more and more I look at it, I've kind of teased it before. It's like I could definitely see it. I'm going to say the defending champs, the Florida Panthers. I mean, they're going to be playing a pretty damn good Tampa Bay team. I know it's fallen short in the last few years, but I do think this is a better Lightning team that's kind of getting hot at the right time that we've seen in a while, right? This is probably the closest to those 2021 Cup teams we've seen for a bit. I mean, plus that Florida team, man, they're so damn banged up. But it's like, yeah, a lot of these guys might be coming back for the playoffs, but some of them it's still question mark. We still don't really know what the deal is with Matthew Tkachuk. And it's like, if he's not back 100%, like, I don't know, man. I have a hard time seeing him beat that Lightning team without him at full health. So I was just thinking they've been struggling a little bit. I mean, I could see it. Like, they're still my favorite. I think I had them at 1 on my post, so that could age really poorly and make me look really dumb. But I'm also going to point out here in this show where it's like I could see it. Nobody's really been talking about it. Everybody kind of just pencils them in as a favorites. But with how banged up they are and the health and all that, I could see it coming back to bite them.
That's a good pick.
Yeah.
Sos?
I'm gonna say I have 2. I'm surprised neither of you guys picked Winnipeg or Washington.
Well, because I think
we've talked about it a lot.
Yeah. No,
think
I
it's
figured
super
that's
possible.
why. I figured that's why.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Colorado.
Okay.
Ooh.
But I don't
Okay.
even know if that's like such a crazy
It's not.
It could go either
take
way.
because they're
Yeah.
gonna play Dallas, and like if they lose
Yeah.
to Dallas, are we really gonna sit here and say Colorado? Like, oh, we
Yeah,
knew
it's
all
not-
along.
Yeah, it's not a disappointment, you know?
Yeah, but
That's funny. All season, I think most people would have favored Dallas, but it's like kind of right now, it feels like Colorado is more the favorite there. Yeah.
maybe a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do these in like the best sort of order. Let's see what we got here. I think all of these are Blackhawks related now, if I'm not mistaken. Haha, this one's funny. Would you rather have won the Celebrini sweepstakes last draft or be able to pick Michael Misa and also have a pick in the 7 to 8 range of this year?
I don't give a shit about the 7 to 8 range. If it was like 2 top 5 picks and I could get like Martone or Higgins too, I would take Misa, Martone, Higgins. I don't care about the 7 to 8. I'd take Celebrini. Like I was so invested in that last year. It's like I saw the vision where it's like, holy shit, man! If you get this guy, that's gonna be a 1-2 center combo to die for. That's gonna be Kane Tays and steroids. You can even move Betsy the wing, and so it definitely sucked. The Sharks they just ruined everything over there. And well, once you look at that, they just happened to be right behind us in the standings yet again. Once again, I love how that works out there. But yeah, look, I say a lot about him on this show, but it's like because I kind of envy him in a way. I do think Celebrini's a really fantastic player, and it sucks that he's not a Blackhawk, but it's the way she goes sometimes. But I do think Bedard's going to be better. I'm going to say that right now, but he has had a better season than I expected. Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'll give the other answer. I'd take Misa and like I don't know, you could get like a Frundell or like an Eklund maybe someone like that. And
that's William Eklund's brother.
Yeah, someone like that in the 7 to 8 range that is probably gonna be a top 6 guy in the NHL still. Like I'll take 2 of those. I think
that's fair.
That's the wrong answer.
But with Misa though,
there are some. Tassos?
I said that's the wrong answer.
Well, did you want me to just say the exact same thing Justin just did on this podcast?
Well, I mean, I guess. Not that I want you guys to be like the agree boys over there, but
I could see the vision though. Like,
what if Misa's a dog? Like, what if Misa's amazing? Sorry, Justin, not to do it again, but Tassos is clowning me, and so I'm getting angry.
No, that's fair.
What if Misa has a season next year in the NHL like Celebrini did this year? You're gonna be wrong.
That's what I was gonna say. Like I watch Misa's tape and I do see a lot of comparables at the details in his game. Like that's a true number 1 center. They're good offensively, defensively. Like he could it could be what he is, right? He's exceptional status players putting up Patrick Kane Jr. numbers. Like he could very well have a Calder type season reminiscent to Celebrini, which I wrote him off, right? I was like, oh, it's Hudson's call or lose, and then he puts up 5 points the other night, and now he's right back in the race there. But it's like, yeah, Misa, it's like, dude, he could be the 1C, move Betsy the wing. With those two, holy shit! And like we don't know who's going to be the third guy. Like could be Mitch. Like he could have a Calder season next year, and then you add a 7-8 in there too. Like I see the vision.
You know what I think it is, Justin, is like we've talked about this already on the show. You've talked about it specifically, Justin. Is like I think we're already seeing like the NCAA bias versus the CHL. Like I think when I look at Misa's tape, like this guy is unbelievable. Like he is so good. But it's because he's doing it in the Ontario Hockey League. Everyone's like, oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. So I think that's what it is. I think we're already seeing the bias there from people.
That's totally fair. That is totally fair. It's a good point. I think I've been talking about a lot in the show where it feels like college hockey has usurped juniors if it hasn't already. It's in the process of doing that. Maybe some more top end in juniors, but it just seems like the depth is it's more rounded out in the college level. It feels like, man.
Tassos, so what's your answer?
Michael Misa is good. Macklin Celebrini is better. Okay. I would rather have Celebrini.
But it's not Misa versus Celebrini. It's Misa and another top 8 pick versus Celebrini.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Fair
enough.
Yeah.
No way.
If it was top 5, I would, but no. Yeah.
I don't think you could pass up having Bedard and Celebrini down the middle.
Yeah. That was the dream. That was the vision last year, but we have a second shot at it, hopefully. Yeah.
Okay, last question from Instagram. Do you guys have any concerns with the lack of size in our forward core? I know KD is building for speed, so we might just be skating circles around other teams in the future. But if you look at the contenders now, they are all fast but big and don't get pushed around.
Yes, I am concerned.
Yeah, I mean, it is a concern. But, like, I think there's size in the bottom 6, but the top 6 there isn't really. So it's like, I understand people where it's like, there is a Martone crowd for a reason, right? Where it's like you look at a guy like that who's well above 6 foot, power forward type. Misa's about 6 foot, so that would actually make him bigger in this forward core, which is kind of crazy. He's barely 6 foot, so. But yeah, it's a lot of like sub 6 foot, fast, speedy, undersized guys in the top 6. We have a ton of size in the back end and the D core. That's not a worry at all. But yeah, the top 6, you would like to have somebody up there, a power forward type, who could kind of fill in for these guys for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I just like when I look around the league and I don't know. After watching Four Nations 2, it's like I don't want to be the New Jersey Devils with just like a bunch of undersized finesse guys.
You're
like,
just gonna get killed.
You can't have too much finesse because you will get absolutely beaten alive in the playoffs. So definitely a concern. We, as Justin said, not to just reiterate exactly what he said, but we do have a big need, a big hole for an elite power forward would really, really help out this Blackhawks roster.
I find it really funny too that was the missing piece, the last piece of the puzzle of those 2010s teams. It looks like we're heading for that same sort of situation. So maybe that's the free agent signing down the road, whether that's this offseason, next offseason. There's another pretty good player who's up for grabs in the 26 offseason that maybe we could talk about more if it's not Martyr this year. So, but yeah.
All right. Final question. Season isn't quite over yet, but what was your favorite Blackhawks goal of the year and your favorite NHL goal of the season?
Oh, geez, dude, that's
favorite Blackhawks goal is the Bedsy OT winner versus Utah. Like that was just a great moment. He had that celebration. Then he posted about it on Instagram with the home caption. Like that was a nice vibes moment to just kind of shut the media up. And so I'll take that for Bedsy. I mean, of course, I'm gonna pick up a Dara goal, right? NHL. Well, actually, I'll let Lee answer Blackhawks.
Oh man, fuck, I don't even know. Maybe the Foligno empty net goal last night. No, I don't know. That is the right. Justin gave the right answer. I don't think there was a better goal this year than that.
I like the Colton Dock first NHL goal. That was a good one.
That was a good one. Yeah. Okay.
I'm trying to think.
The Frick Nazar penalty shot one was pretty nice.
Yep.
Yeah, true. Frankie's had a couple of nice goals.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't think of anything that's better than what we just mentioned.
You guys got any for the NHL?
I mean, I'm going to be biased again. There's definitely better goals than this one, but there's just something about this goal in particular that I really loved. In January, the Patrick Kane OT winner gets a centers, and then he does the sign of the cross heartbreaker celebration with the nuns in attendance. I thought that was super cool. Like the goal itself was whatever, but I don't know. Just anytime Patrick Kane scoring an overtime winner, that's an easy pick for me. Yeah.
This is definitely recency bias, and because I have the recollection and the brain power of a pigeon. That Quentin Byfield goal the other night was absolutely.
I was gonna say.
He batted it to himself. Like, how the hell did he do that?
That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous.
Yep.
That's a fair pick. Yeah.
Byfield one is probably mine too. I'd need to comb over some of the better goals this season.
Yeah, I'd have to watch them back, and I'd probably be able to give a different answer. But
that's an off the cuff answer. That's a hard one to answer. Just like right now, it's like there's so many goals. Oh, like how the hell the Ovechkin 895.
Maybe that's better.
There you go. Or even the tire against Chicago. Whatever. Yeah, any Ovechkin goal.
Ooh, Slaggert 7 seconds for. The Blackhawks goal.
The rest of that game was terrible.
Yeah, but that game was so bad.
But we're just talking goals, though. We're just talking about goals.
Yeah, it's just my memory of that goal would be better if the rest of the game wasn't asked. But you're right. Like the fastest goal in Hawks history, by the way. I think that was 7 seconds, 8 seconds in. So Landon Slaggert took notes from Max Verstappen there. Very impressive.
It's a very good honorable mention.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah,
right.
I think if we can get another first career goal, that would be nice coming up here. That would be my pick. Yeah.
Yeah, the favorite goal is the next goal.
Yeah,
the next one.
Always.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. What else? Oh, so that's it for questions. Thank you for submitting questions. We answer them every Friday. Like I said, Instagram, Discord, and that's how you give us your questions for us to answer on Fridays. So we appreciate it.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that's going to be it for the Blackhawks hour. But in the NHL hour, we're going to be doing the Mount Rushmore of hockey sounds. We're going to be doing some quick hits as far as games last night and other NHL stuff. And then we've got the interview with Rudy Hodgson, who is the voice of the Cincinnati Cyclones of this ECHL. So all that and more coming up in the NHL hour. Stick around. Welcome back. NHL Hour, Chicago Hockey Radio. I love that one, man. I love that song. I don't know why. It just gets me fired up. I don't know about you guys over there watching us, but just
it will fire me up if I could hear it.
Yeah, that sucks. Once you're in studio, you'll understand why I'm, doing one of these. It just gets me going. A lot of NHL news, some good games last night too. So a lot to get out of the way here. Let's start with the big piece of news. The Carolina Hurricanes have signed Alexander Nikishin to a 2-year entry-level contract. I mean, probably one of, if not the most hyped up hockey players not in the NHL right now. Just an absolute beast of a defenseman playing for SKA St. Petersburg in the KHL. Has been their captain for a couple seasons, putting up crazy numbers as a defenseman. So he's going to be sliding into what is already a pretty stacked defensive team, right, Justin? Like that, they're going to be crazy with this guy.
Yeah, that could be just the help they need. I feel like a lot of people have kind of wrote them off, right? But it's like you get a guy like that in your lineup who could make a difference on that back end. That's kind of already their strength, right? That's going to be hard for them. But yeah, look at his numbers, dude. Holy shit. He's putting up 50, 40-point season in the KHL as a defenseman, 23 years old. Like, that's absolutely wild. Was drafted 69th overall by the Carolina Hurricanes. Nice. So he'll be a nice part of that decor there. And second best player in the KHL to Roman Cancerov, right?
Yeah, obviously. Our boy Roman.
They always find guys like this, Carolina, I feel like.
Yeah. The Blackhawks used to be good at that too. Not like defensemen, but I mean,
Tevy Panarin. Yeah, we didn't even draft him. We signed him. Yeah.
I think it was like the same thing with like Pia Suter too.
Mm-hmm. A few guys like that. The European scouts of the Hawks have always been pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that guy's going to be a dog on that team. So that'll be interesting to watch. And then Ivan Demidov.
Petersburg team is insane, dude. Like, you brought up Ivan Demidov. He's also on that team, right? Yeah. And obviously he is landed in Canadian land and will be debuting against the Blackhawks on Monday. So that will be interesting to see.
Yeah. So SKA St. Petersburg just losing all their talent.
Because that's tough too.
Wasn't Tony D on that team as well?
Yeah, he left too. They're losing everybody.
The NHL is just pillaging that team for all their talent.
They're rebuilding. It's like you look at this roster. It's like, I don't know if there's a cancer roster that has more talent than this one or had more talent. And yeah, now they're all leaving too. Grigorenko is on that team too. Plotkinov is a lot of recognizable names here. Pretty nuts.
I think they lost in the first or second round.
Oh, really?
They did, yeah. They got upset there. Yeah,
Something
Nikita
like
Zaitsev, Blackhawks legend as well on that team. So
wow.
Yeah, just a loaded squad, but not loaded enough for the playoffs. I guess they're the Leafs of the KHL. Yeah.
The Leafs of the KHL. I mean, dude, as a North American hockey fan, it's good to see, I don't know, especially with the NHL expanding, we want to be seeing more of these players from around the world coming to the league. So good to see, loading up the talent a little bit.
It's a loaded league, the KHL, man. There's a lot of talent over there. So it's like, I think that's going to help too if this NHL might be getting only bigger from here. So yeah, there's still a lot more on the horizons there in Europe. And I'm waiting in the wings for sure. Man.
Yep. We touched on it a little bit during the Blackhawks hour, but Isaac Howard going to be returning most likely to Michigan State and not signing an ELC with Tampa. An interesting situation. I don't know a ton about it. I've heard some other people talk about it that also don't really know about the situation. So it's like kind of like a game of telephone here. But it kind of just seems like the way Tampa's roster is structured right now, there wasn't really a spot for him. And so it's like, would you rather wait? If you're Isaac Howard, would you rather wait around or would you rather go play at Michigan State again and be like the big dog on campus? I feel like it makes sense is what I'm trying to say as far as that decision goes.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that's happening there because I think we played Penguins pretty recently, and I brought up Blackhawks legend Kevin Hayes, who was drafted in 2010, but never signed the LC, never actually played for the Hawks because obviously those teams are so loaded, probably never saw a spot for him. It's like, maybe that's a similar situation here where it's like, where's he drawing to this Tampa lineup, right? I mean, maybe it's just not really a role there. So it's like, just slug it out for another year in college, which he doesn't really need to. He's dominated last year. He's going to dominate again. And maybe he'll go elsewhere. Maybe we're speculating there, but it's like a guy like that really doesn't need to go back another year. So maybe it's just an unfinished business thing where it's like he wants to win a chip with MSU and load up there, right? That could be the case, but he's a 2022 draft pick, man. Like, this is going to be what, year 3-4 for him? It's like, I don't know if it's really necessary. So it's like it fuels speculation as to where his NHL future is, if it's with Tampa or not.
Yeah. I saw a hypothetical, a little question on Twitter that I would like to ask both of you. But Justin, I think you know where I'm headed with this. But I would like Tassos to answer it first, and then you, because I think I know what your answer is going to be, Justin. Tassos, would you trade Kevin Korchinski 1-for-1 swap with Tampa Bay Lightning for Isaac Howard?
Ooh. That right. I think that's probably, look, in hindsight, it's probably a little under the value that you'd want to get for Kevin Korchinski.
Yeah.
But that'd be tough to turn down, especially if I've seen what like if I've seen what the market is on Korchinski around the league and nobody's really interested, and you've got this deal on the table for Isaac Howard, like I don't know what's he gonna do in the NHL, right? Like maybe a good middle six guy. Like I see a little bit of like Yanni Gord in his game. You know, speaking of Tampa Bay Lightning, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, my thought process is why not just wait, for that ELC to expire and then sign him now so you don't have to trade Kevin Korchinski. And also, it's like if we're trading Korchinski, it's like I want to put him in a package to get an established player back, not just another young player. It's like Korchinski has top 4D potential. I would argue that is bigger than that of middle six potential. I know Howard's put up insane numbers in college, but it's like he's also kind of an overage now there at this point. He's been successful in the World Juniors for the U.S. as well. He's a good player, but is he a star? Does he have the potential? I don't know. Korchinski too, we don't know as well. But you're basically trading two unknowns there, and it's like I don't know if I want to do that.
One other point that I'll add is also we just got done talking about how this Blackhawks forward group is pretty undersized. Isaac Howard is no giant, so
we have so many forward prospects there, like who are like him. Like there's really nothing new there that we don't have, right? If I want to trade somebody for that power forward that we're missing or something like that, like get a piece of the puzzle that we're missing that we don't have. Right, an established piece that could slide in right now and make an impact, not another, dar on the board that may or may not hit. Yeah.
Moving on, Brock Besser has said that he does not expect to re-sign in Vancouver this summer. Justin, would you like to see Kyle Davidson pick up the phone?
Yeah, like Russell Westbrook there. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, look, that's a not bad backup plan there, right? If that certain Toronto guy decides he wants to re-up there, you got to do something. I'm sorry, you can't do nothing, right? Like I know you can't tease that, but it's like you got to do something here. And that's not Tara Vine. That's not Tyler Bertuzzi. I know he's had a bit of a tougher season there. Who hasn't on that Canucks team? That culture there in the locker room, it's a shithole there at the moment, right? I think he needs to change his scenery. This is a guy who's a couple years removed from a 40-goal, 70-point season. Like this is a guy who could slot in. Like he has a hell of a shot. Who bets he could be finding on the top line there, right? Like I think that's a piece there, that top six there, that would be very nice. So it has to be for the right. That's the thing, though. It's like, what's the term going to look like? He had 50 points this year, so definitely a drop off. Been an up and down player. Consistency's been an issue, but you look at that shot and that potential, what he could be, but it has to be for the right price, and I'm sure he'd be commanding a decent amount, probably around $8 million or so. Yeah.
Would you give him 7 times 8?
I consider it.
Would you give him 7 times 8.5 or 9?
7 times 8, 56. I mean, the cap going up, that's probably. I would think about that.
Yeah.
I consider it. How about you, Lee?
I think I'd consider it.
Yeah.
It depends on kind of what else happens this summer, I guess. Maybe if you don't go for a Mitch Marner, you go for him and maybe someone else to, maybe a John Tavares.
Yeah, like I don't think that would be the only move, right? Like you'd have to do something else, right? If you're not getting Mitch Marner, you probably need like 2 of those, where it's like you could maybe look at a guy like Ehlers or somebody like that. Which I know maybe sounds familiar, but it's like I do think if you're bringing in potentially, let's just say hypothetically, the Hawks are bringing in Ehlers and Brock Besser, I think that's an upgrade over bringing in Tyler Bertuzzi,
definitely,
and Teuvo Teravainen.
Definitely is.
But there is something to be said though, where it's like we don't want to bring in. I think look at quality over quantity this offseason for Kyle Davidson, because we have so many young guys in this roster. It's like if we're bringing in 7, 8 guys again, like you're not gonna have enough room for them. So it's like bring in 2 or 3 quality guys, maybe 2 forwards, maybe one defenseman, maybe because there is a lot of young defensemen back there. Maybe one of that. But we have Murray for another year, so I don't even know if you have to do that.
I don't think you do.
You probably don't even have to add a defenseman. So add in like 2 quality forwards for the top 6. Maybe you don't even need to do that, because it's like, what if Misa drops in? Maybe you only need 1. I don't know. If it's Mitch Marner. If it's Mitch Marner, you probably only need him.
Justin, I genuinely don't want to see more than 2 players brought in this offseason. I'm serious. And that goes for everything, because I don't think we should bring in a defenseman. I think we have too many young defensemen that have already proven that they can play at least somewhat competently at the NHL level. We've got Connor Murphy still back there. And then the forward group, it's like we also have a ton of guys that are going to be sliding in over this next year, finishing up their junior and college careers. So
like the Blavers and people like that.
So just exactly what you said, though, quality over quantity, and I just want 1 or 2 pieces. And that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, a lot of it depends on the draft too. It's like, cause like I don't think really any of these guys besides Misa would slot right in, but like that's a guy too. It's like you draft him. I do think there are question marks. No, I think that guy's 1,000% NHL ready, could slot right into that top 6 next season. So then you make a big addition for agency. Boom, you got 2 slots figured out right there, hopefully, and then the rest of it will kind of fill out there. You would think, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's.
Can I jump in about Brock Besser?
Yeah, please do.
73 points last season for a Canucks team that was really good. It was for a guy that you think of as being like a 30 goal scorer, that was actually his first 30 goal season. He in fact scored 40. And other than that though, it's a lot of mid 40 point range, like mid 50 point range seasons for a guy that, you know, they have Quinn Hughes there. It's not like they don't have any offensive firepower. Like it's not like, you know, they have JT Miller and Elias Pettersson at times, and like it's not like there wasn't cookies to go around. Like I don't know, dude.
So are you kind of suggesting that like 8.5 is probably on a higher end for that guy? Like,
no, I'd say eight at most. If you can get in the 7 range,
Even 8's a lot.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to, because there's gonna be other teams. The cap's going up, and he's probably not worth $8 million right now, but that's probably what he's gonna.
Yeah,
command.
dude, that's what the market's gonna be now. It's gonna be like you know.
But didn't you just like I don't know. I know they're different, but didn't you go just get rid of Seth Jones and I know you know.
Yeah, but it's the same thing.
I'm just saying, if you're committing that much money to
it's a good point.
a player, you know, you should be really confident that they're going to be
good.
You said
for
7
that entire
times 8.
term.
Like, yeah, that's the thing with Besser. Like, do you want to? Yeah, I didn't really think about that at first. Like, if you're going to pay him that much, like maybe 3, 4, 5 years, not 7, 8 years. Like,
yeah.
But is he going to be looking for a long-term thing, or maybe you can make a shorter deal, higher term? Like it would be maybe better, so it's like you're not strapping yourself in, because we've played those games before. I think you did bring up, which I didn't think about at first, but the more I think about it now, it's like I could see what you mean there. Yeah.
I think the term's important for that situation for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's get into. Do we want to do some Wednesday, Thursday game talk here, boys?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Well, first of all, I would love to hear Tassos' thoughts. We didn't really talk about it yesterday during the stream at all. Tassos, your thoughts on you said, we'll see. Maple Leafs got it done in Tampa, 4-3 in overtime. Matthew Nyes having the winner. How
had a hat trick.
Yeah. How did you,
him too? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, dude. He was a beast.
Are you seeing
tore
this?
them up.
He was their best player on the ice in that game.
Yeah.
And he's really good. And I would get him locked up 8 times. That's a guy I would give 8 times 8.5 to. Like that's, 8 times 8.5, even 8 times 9 if he wanted it. I think the ceiling is, very, very high for a player like Matthew Nyes.
And he's that power forward type, right? Like I did bring up the scenario before of him, right? Where it's like, if Marner's resigning, maybe that's a guy you could poach.
He could he could shoot 40 in the net.
Yeah.
Like maybe not every season, but at least a couple of seasons over an 8-year contract. He could get, maybe shoot 40, maybe get close.
In my mind, though, that is like, Justin, go off the point you just made about maybe if Marner resigns. Like from my outsider's perspective of the Toronto Maple Leafs, like that is the last human being you should be letting go from your club. Like
Matthew Nyes.
Yes.
Matthew Nyes. Yes.
That is
I would say
everything they need.
Everybody keeps saying, oh, the Leafs playoff hopes are going to run through their core 4. I don't think it's going to run through their core 4. I think it's going to run through Matthew Nyes at this rate. Because that's exactly what they've been missing. So it's like, if he's producing at that rate, then to supplement that core 4, that might be all you need. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The Minnesota, so we kind of hyped up on the Wednesday show. We hyped up like the Flames Ducks game and the Wild Sharks game a little bit, just because the Flames Wild game tonight could have had massive playoff implications. But the Flames lost in overtime, so they still got a point. But I think it's too far away now, and
this is their last chance. This is it. I mean, right? If you lose this game, it's done.
Must win. I don't know if they'd actually be. They might actually be eliminated if they lose in regulation to the Wild tonight. So, I mean, a must win for Calgary. But honestly, at this point, I'm not even worried about the tattoo anymore. I don't think they're going to be able to get it done.
Damn. Because let us down there.
Macklin Celebrini had
Oh, you should mention Cutter Gauthier though.
Yeah, that's a Cutter Gauthier. Yeah, not the other guy. Yeah.
You should mention Cutter Gauthier if you're talking Ducks Flames though.
Yeah, you want me to do some Cutter Gauthier talk?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Couple of goals. I mean, I don't know. I just like Anaheim does not move me, man. Like I've probably done Anaheim talk on this show like 3 times this entire year.
I just think that some of the guys out there in California, which used to be the gauntlet in the NHL, was like, you know, we've talked about this a little bit, I feel like, but like in the early 2010s and in the mid 2010s,
Sharks and Ducks and the Kings.
Ducks, Kings was like a really tough
Hawks
road
always
trip.
going through.
Oh, we know.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
I think it's going to be in the future, man.
Yeah,
Both those teams are
like-
loading up. The Ducks got to get some better coaching staff there. So I think they have the talent, but they don't have the pieces around, man.
But Cutter Gauthier, you know, for a guy that he had a rough start to the season too.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
we were,
Yeah.
you know, we were pointing that out early on in the year.
Oh
And,
yeah.
you know,
He's
we'll-
been tearing up lately.
Yeah, he's up to 20 goals, 23 assists, 43 points in 79 games. So
Yeah.
good year. I think, you know, it's probably a bit
On that
easier
team,
to play.
it's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On that team it's fair, number 1, and number 2, it's probably a bit easier to play now that you know you're not playing for anything. I'm sure the
Yeah.
Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah, takes the pressure
effect.
off. Yeah.
But for a young kid like that who's still learning how to play in the NHL, like those games still matter a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So-
the guy's always got a ton of pressure on his career too, just because of how that situation in Philly went, where it's like, you know, you sleep in the bed you make, right? For him, it's like you want to succeed in Anaheim and prove people wrong. So, yeah, definitely will always be amongst the
Anaheim
most
really-
wanted in Philly. Yeah.
Anaheim, with that situation where he kind of screwed Philly and the entire city hates him, and honestly,
Yeah.
the league was kind of slandering him a little bit. Like Anaheim is a perfect spot for a guy coming out of that situation because it's like nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's
Nobody in
like-
California
No,
cares, man. No, like there's no pressure. Like I think that's benefiting that certain somebody who exists who had that really nice game. Like I think the fact that there's no pressure, there's like it's not Chicago, man. It's not a original 6 market. You want Anaheim, San Jose, whatever. It's like nobody cares about over there. And hockey's an afterthought, right? So it's like it takes the pressure off for a young player. It's a perfect situation to be in with other young kids around your age, you know. And with, you know, where you're in the bottom of the standings, you're not playing for playoffs, right? There's really no implications. Like, just worry about your game and yourself. That's all. That's it.
Yeah, you're not
Yeah.
getting sassy comments and questions after every game from Mark Lazarus over in Anaheim. So
No.
yeah. I think it's a good spot for him.
Good tee up for our guests, though. Real good tee up, guys. Saying that hockey doesn't matter in California
No, I
before we
think
bring on Rudy.
we were talking more about San Jose and the Ducks. I do think it matters in LA,
Yeah.
Los Angeles, because I mean it's Los Angeles, man. It's Hollywood, and the Kings of 2012, 2014, right? They've been in the playoffs the last few years. Like they're in a different situation right now than the Ducks and Sharks. Like those two are in rebuilds, right? And the California fans are fair weather, right? When the team's good, they'll show up. When they're not good, they don't show up. But the Kings fans, they'll always show up because
Yeah.
LA. So
Yeah.
that's a difference. Like LA, I don't even consider, like, I know it's California, but like that's LA is it's its own sphere, it's its own universe, man. Like I'm not gonna compare LA to Anaheim and
Yeah,
San
they're
Jose.
San Jose and Anaheim are like suburbs, you know. It's like
Yeah.
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 It's definitely not the same as LA.
And look, hockey has come a long way in California too. Sorry not to cut you off.
No, you're
there,
fine.
But
Go
it's
ahead.
like it has improved. Like it used to be. I think probably the Gretzky effect too in the '90s helped out a lot. That, but it's like, there is a market there for it. But it is. I'm saying compared to the other pro sports, it's it's number 4. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Are you guys worried though about that becoming like such a tough road swing again? And the Sharks, I mean, you guys are clearly, Justin is clearly petrified over the idea of the San Jose Sharks contending quicker than the Blackhawks.
I don't know quicker, but I think they're gonna be around the same time. Like I think when architecture window opens, it's gonna be them. But that's gonna be the team we go through. The Ducks too, if they can get some of the stuff figured out there. It's gonna be the 2010s. I gotta tell you, that's gonna be it. The Kings, we'll see if they'll be in the mix there. They might fall off by then, but yeah, like the Sharks and Ducks, like their future is very clear, right? They got the talent, the pool, so it's like those are the teams. They're not in our division there, but it's like Pacific Division, like that. We're gonna be going through them. And those finals and all that, just like the 2010s. So, of course, like I look at what they're doing, and I can't help but be intrigued and just look and compare and contrast, and because that's going to be our foe.
Yeah, and I'm not scared. It's more so an excitement thing. It's like nostalgia. It's like we're getting back to why I love the game, the reason why I got into the game. Like I remember those matchups all the time, and like going to Anaheim and being worried about Kessler and Perry and Getzlaff, and then you got San Jose the next night with Thornton and Marlowe and Pavelski, and then you got LA with Kopitar and Dowdy and and so like
those were the days.
They were. So it's nostalgic, and it's a shame that in a couple years we might be doing super meaningful pre-games at 12:30 at night, but get me back, I'll take it.
Yeah, and also Tassos, what happened in the 2010s when the Ducks and Sharks would play us? What happened in those series? I don't recall them ever beating us. The Kings did beat us that one time, but we also beat them. So it's all fair. It's all well and good. Yeah,
that was then. This is now. So this really is feeling up to like if the San Jose Sharks were to win the Stanley Cup, you guys would be pretty upset about it.
Well, yeah, because it probably means they went through us to do it, right? That's probably like we're going to be in their way, right, and vice versa. So, but look, they haven't won a cup in their existence, so there's something to take into account. Yeah, they're used to having insane regular seasons, having the talent, and then not showing up when it matters. So we'll see if
they got to prove it. They got to win the cup before I'm like, oh my gosh, these guys.
San Jose.
San Jose. What are we gonna do?
No, I'm not. There's been a lot of talk around them. The vibes. Like nothing they have is something we don't have, but like we're Chicago and they're San Jose, so that's what there's going to be the difference.
Yeah, dude. Since they've been bad, it's not the Shark Tank; it's like the Fish Tank. It's like
they're ethical tank over there, right? It's all in, but over when we do it, it's like we're the villains. It makes no sense.
The ethical tank. Yeah.
Yeah. No, like they could do no wrong over there, man. It's actually unbelievable. Like their guys, right there, Kane and Taze on Wish, right? They combined for 9 points on Wednesday, and we still lost the game.
Yeah, it was a barn burner. Celebrini with
that wasn't
5.
much of a hockey game.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that's awesome though. That's like why it's like the best is when there's 8-7 in overtime. Electric. Yeah, Celebrini had 5 points, 3 goals, 2 assists. Will Smith had a goal and 3 assists, so 4 points for him. They were awesome, but Minnesota got their big dogs back. We mentioned it before the game, and they showed out. Eriksson Ek with 4 goals. How do you do? And then Kaprizov with 2 goals and an assist, including the game-winning goal. San Jose, just like the Blackhawks, suck in overtime. Unless they're playing the Toronto Maple Leafs, then they can get it done in a shootout. But yeah, I mean, an electric game, Minnesota, good win for them to kind of separate themselves a little bit from Calgary, make the game tonight a little less stressful for them. I don't know. You want to do a bit about it?
Yeah, no, I mean, they really got those players back in a nick of time, man. Seriously. And then both of them make an impact right away. Eriksson Ek and Kaprizov overshadowing Mr. Big Milestone there. So, God, love that. Love to see that. So, yeah, Minnesota, we'll see, right? Win today, you basically punch your ticket. And, I think a lot of people would have wrote them off before without Kaprizov, Eriksson Ek. But suddenly you get those guys back, and, I don't think you can just sneeze at them. It's going to be tough. The first round matchup there, probably going to be against, like, who do they play right now? Probably Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. So, yeah, that'll be tough. Like, I would definitely I'd see a better chance of a Winnipeg upset, honestly, against the Blues than Minnesota against Vegas. But I don't know, though. You get Kaprizov back. Like, that's your big team right there. Like, that's your driver play. So it's like crazier things have happened, man. They wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me either. I definitely think, regardless of who they play, I think they're going to be able to make it a series, Yeah,
like, it's a series now. Like, there's still a first-round exit to me. It's a Wild. They're always a first-round exit, but maybe 6 or 7, not 4 or 5, right?
Yeah. Good point. Yeah. You concur, Tassos? Any other thoughts on that?
No, but Marc-Andre Fleury's last home game in the NHL was that game too, so that was pretty cool.
It's pretty crazy. Hard to imagine NHL without Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah, I was like watching the highlights of that game. I was like, yeah, it's probably time. But,
you think he's gonna get it starts there? I don't know, probably. Only if they need to, right? Yeah.
Once the 7th went in, I was like, all right.
No. Okay. He still won the hockey game, so he didn't let in 8. And I think, dude, there are some bad goalies in the NHL. Like, he could play another year. He's not the worst goalie. There are some bad goalies. He could totally play another year.
I'm not saying
I love Flower, but it's like his time ended like 2-3 seasons ago. Like, when I saw
Johansson.
Cox uniform, like, okay, it might be time to hang it up, buddy.
Tassos, don't get me wrong. There are definitely some other goalies that should also not be in the NHL, but that doesn't. I don't know, man.
He's a legend, right?
He
I
is,
think that's
he
a big
is,
part.
he
Like
is.
if his name wasn't Marc-Andre Fleury, he wouldn't still be going. Then like I love the guy, but I'm sorry. Like that definitely helps his cause there.
You don't think Marc-Andre Fleury is better than Jonas Johansson?
Well, yeah, he's better than you. I mean, Johansson's the ECHL. He shouldn't even be like. The other guys he's better than, but it's like they're probably guys in the wings too who are also better. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, 897 save percentage, 297 goals against. All right, Thursday games were really good last night. The one I wanted to talk about most is the Capitals Hurricanes game. Like I am now like really excited for that second round matchup, and I hope it happens. I hope the Devils like don't play spoilers, and same thing with Montreal, because these teams have some bad blood. Obviously.
History. Yeah.
Obviously, there was the Chatfield suplex at the start of the fight in their last game, and then that spilled over into the one last night, and a couple of lead changes. Duhaime fought Chatfield last night and absolutely fed him his lunch. The announcers were like, both guys getting shots in, and I was like, where did Chatfield get a single shot in this fight? He got fucking peppered. That's going to be an exciting series if it happens in the second round.
If it happens, right? I mean, I think for the Canes, their tickets already punched. I don't see that Devils team doing a thing against them in the playoffs, right? We'll see how well that ages, but they don't move me at all. But I don't know, like that Canadians, that little pesky Canadians bunch there, man. I mean, I think that's going to be a tougher series. Like, I wouldn't shock me if they upset them, but let's just say that doesn't happen. They meet up like, I think that maybe that was a division that we weren't really that excited for, and now there is some excitement there because there's some bad blood there. There's some history, right? That's gonna carry over into the playoffs. Like that UFC takedown by Chatfield, like that was something. I don't know how we didn't get more reprimand for that, but yeah, I mean, if those two are facing off, like that could be a fun 6-7 game series for sure. Absolutely, especially Hurricanes now. You're adding in that defenseman too. It's like, yeah, I think that'd be a pretty even matchup. Yeah,
dude. I mean, the playoffs this season they're going to be so electric. Like,
there's no snoozers. There really isn't.
There's not. I know we've been shitting on the Metro like crazy, like this, since the trade deadline, basically. Yeah. But now, because of this situation between these two teams, like that could be the most entertaining matchup in the second round now.
Yeah, like the only one you might look at, but it's like even that one, because like we've seen it 3 other times, is the Oilers Kings. But this is the first year where it seems like the Kings might actually have a shot. So even that one has a little bit of juice. So it's like, and like there's some different matchups too here, where it's like the Leafs might finally win the division, so they'll finally get to play a different team. Battle Florida, like you can never get enough of that, right? And even like there's upset potential for a lot of these matchups too. Like we brought up the Canadians and the Senators, and even the Western Conference, like a team like the Blues that's been rolling against the Jets, right? The Minnesota Wild are suddenly getting back Kaprizov. Like the teams are getting healthier, right? Which is what we wanted to see. We're worried about a lot of these star guys on the sidelines, and there are some, right? It sucks that there's no Hughes in the Devils, and we'll see what happens with Tkachuk and all that. But most of these guys, I imagine the Oilers are going to be fine from that regard too. Like most teams are going to be fully healthy, and that's what we want to see. And I think it's a lot of these even matchups. Like this first round is going to be one to die for, and I think we're going to be streaming the hell out of it for sure. Yeah.
Tassos, if that second round matchup happens, Caps Hurricanes, who you got?
Caps.
Okay.
Caps.
What about you, Justin?
Yeah, I feel like the Canes are a team I haven't really I didn't even include them in my top 8 contenders post. It's just because they've always been a step away, and I feel like this year for whatever reason they don't move me as much. But maybe I haven't given them their due. It's like the thing is they have been there, done that. They have been in these situations before. They've been in a lot of second, third round appearances where the Capitals haven't in recency. I could see the Canes taking that series, but yeah, I feel like that could go either way. Like I honestly, I'd have to wait. I don't know if I could pick one right now. I think it could go either way. Capitals, Canes, 7 games. Yeah.
I think as of right now, I could see a 7-game series, and I think as of right now, I'm gonna do a deep dive like once we have the bracket. But I think right now I'd pick the Canes to narrowly edge. We did Jets Stars talk already, so we don't need to do that. And honestly, most of the rest of these games were kind of nothing burgers, just because not too many playoff implications. One thing I will say is the Panthers beat the Red Wings last night 4-1, and Brad Marchand scored his first goal as a Florida Panther. So
very cool. Yeah.
Congrats to the Rat.
The one thing I'll say is, again, meant absolutely nothing, but Battle of New York, the Rangers absolutely spanked the Islanders 9-2.
Mantled them.
Yeah, Gabe Perreault was scratched, so it goes to show how the Rangers are great with developing young players, right? So that's about it.
Yeah, they couldn't have them in the lineup because these games are so important. They still have a shot to make the postseason. I'm just kidding. They are cooked, and they shouldn't be scratching young players. All right, we've got to. I don't think we need to talk anything else about the games. We've got a very, very fun segment here.
Mount Rushmore time.
Mount Rushmore time.
Were you guys going to tee up the weekend at all?
Yeah, we could tee up the weekend.
Sure.
All right, let's look at the games tonight.
Canadians can punch a playoff spot tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were probably gonna make it, but yeah, they're gonna confirm it right now, right, against the Senators. I mean, those are two teams that have been, the two teams the Hawks will be playing next week, right? That have been gearing up for the playoffs, so that should be a fun one, right? If they both upset, maybe that's a preview. I don't know, probably not, but that's always a good rivalry. Canadian teams always fun to watch. So otherwise tonight, those pesky Sharks take on the Oilers, so we know what's going to happen in that one. The Wild Flames game, we kind of brought that up, but yeah, the Flames last shot for the lead tattoo, and then other games, whatever.
Would be cool if that game meant something.
Yeah,
it would be nice. Yeah, for sure.
And then Saturday, I mean, not again, like it's we're talking about the last
should be
three.
pretty good. You got hockey.
Got Habs,
Canada,
Leafs.
Habs,
Yeah.
Leafs.
Habs Leafs will be good. But then other than that, I mean, I'm not tuning in for the 9:00 puck drop for the Blues Kraken, if I'm being honest with y'all. So,
Really, man, I had that so set to record, man. I can't wait.
No. That one's not really moving me either.
Yeah, let's see Sunday here. Is Sunday any better? It does not look like it from what I'm seeing.
Oilers Jets will be a good game on Sunday.
Maple Leafs Hurricanes.
Leafs
should
Hurricanes,
be good.
yeah. And then
well, the Flame Sharks was quite the game of the day.
Oh
right?
yeah. Flame Sharks for sure.
It's a barn burner right there. Yeah. And
You
Tassos
think
was Leafs and the
Washington's gonna?
Canes. Yeah.
You think Washington's gonna rest Alex Ovechkin in any of these games? They play back to back against Columbus Saturday, Sunday.
I think
he's got the record now. So I mean, what does he have to really play for at this point? Like, I think it would make sense to do, but maybe he wants to play as much games as possible. Get closer to 900, but he can worry about that next season.
Yeah, I think they'll ask him. I think it'll be up to Alex Ovechkin, to be honest with you.
I think he's even talked about too, like he denied going on some talk shows after breaking the record because he's just so exhausted. Like there's just been so much going on with him, obviously, in his life lately, right? Just a big turnaround the last little while. So I think for him, any rest he could get before the playoffs, you want that guy on top of his game, right? So yeah, I think it'd be smart for them to do that, man.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see him score a playoff goal and just like celebrate like crazy. It's gonna be so fun.
Yeah, now he's got to go for the playoff goals record. I think he's a while away from that one. I don't think he's going to get that one.
Yeah, no, he's going to have to make it to the Cup final.
Yeah.
All right.
Mount
Rushmore time.
All right, let's do it.
Do we have Soul? No, we don't have Soul. So it's going to be Raven on.
So, but Raven, I'm going to turn his mic on. I just did. So I will tee this up. So we tried the Mount Rushmore thing on Wednesday. It was fun. We want to juice it up a little bit, so we're juicing it up. 4 teams now. The 4th team is Raven and Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow is not in house today. He's not in studio. So he gave Raven 2 picks, correct, Raven?
Yes.
Yeah.
Gave me multiple.
Gave you multiple picks. So 2 picks via Raven and 2 picks via Tim Tebow. And yeah, we will. I have a random number generator here. We'll all shout numbers at when that time comes. But then we will move. So, like I said last time, except now we're actually doing this competitively. We will, we will rotate who gets the first pick. So this is the only time that we will really be picking numbers. We will be moving on a rotating basis from that point on. And yeah, we're going to keep track. Evan in chat today actually brought up a really good idea that I kind of like. I want to bring this up because it was such a good idea. You guys should pre-record these Mount Rushmores, make the post the night before with teams 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and then reveal them the next day on the live show to determine the loser.
Boo.
I think B-Hawks means
Boo.
over here. Boo.
I think that's a great idea.
I think it's a terrible idea. I hate it.
I think that's a great idea. And then we can record.
Wow, this guy he's preying on my downfall over there.
Oh, Justin Lynch, maybe a 24-hour stream is in your future.
So yeah, and then that's the caveat here is that the loser of the Mount Rushmore will do a 24-hour stream starting at the start of the second round of the NHL draft and concludes 24 hours from that point on.
Well, realistically, it's probably going to be however early the loser wants to start it that day. You know,
I mean, I think the second round of the draft probably starts at like 8 in the morning, doesn't it? 8, 9 in the morning.
okay. Well, if it's at 8 in the morning, then maybe that's a good start time. But
Yeah. So
Oh, just watch a bunch of hockey games, man. It won't be so bad after all.
the hockey season will be over by the second round of the draft.
yeah. it's
Oh,
gonna
the
be-
draft. I thought the second round. Oh, okay.
No,
Oh,
second round of the draft.
So you're just watching rounds 2 through 7 and
Yep.
breaking that. Oh, God
Yeah.
bless it. Yeah, I'd rather no.
I'd rather not. You'd rather not.
Yeah.
No.
You'd probably rather not even have to stream the second through 7th rounds of the NHL draft. It is a punishment, though. That is the idea
Yeah.
of this. So it's not.
The second, third, like after the third round, you tune up the draft bands. Like the first round, obviously, is awesome. The second, third rounds, you got some good players. Fourth round onwards, it's like you're just throwing darts at a board, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you gotta break down the second through 7th round of the draft. And what did we decide on? 15 minutes gets shaved off for every
It's got to be 30, dude. You
30?
were, yeah. I think you're like so excited. Like,
Raven.
it,
What are your thoughts?
It can't be 15. Tassos, if you lose and you are actually doing a 20-hour stream, you're going to. That's insanity.
The thing that just came into my head was that if Sully and I lose, that means we're going to be having to break down rounds 2 of 7 of the draft, which I think is a big enough.
It won't just be the loser on stream. Like I'm sure other people will be coming to hang out.
I was gonna say I told Tassos today that the other groups, the other teams should do like 3-hour stints. Just to make it a little bit more bearable and
What is this? What is this, endurance racing or something where it's like you fill in for guys? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I see. Okay.
It is.
Got the 24 hours of CHR.
No. We'll come and hang out with whoever loses. I presume it's gonna be Lee. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. So,
presume it's going to be me.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you're the least.
But we're learning, we're shaking, we're moving as we're going with this. Like this is something we're workshopping as we do it every time. I do like that suggestion of like pre-recording these and then putting out the graphic the night before, so that way we have a winner the day of.
Yeah.
A guy like that.
It's a
I
good
think
idea.
that's funny.
That's a good idea.
When we do this, I like that. But okay. Maybe we'll think about it. Okay, so that's it. We're doing the Mount Rushmore of hockey sounds today. And we will. Are you guys ready?
I think so. I don't even have a list. I just have ideas in my head.
Oh gosh,
I don't need a list for this, man.
This is prepping so well for the 24-hour stream.
You're right. I'm sorry. I should have come in with a list of 45 hockey sounds just in case.
I'm just saying, dude. There's only going to be 16 picks made. You could have come up with at least 16.
I did. I came up with more than that just in my head.
In your head.
Yeah, just watching hockey. Like,
That's
they're all
going
in
to
my
materialize.
head. I didn't look up. Oh, what hockey
See,
sounds?
Tassos
That's
does
gonna
not understand what he cannot comprehend what goes on up here.
This is
doesn't
going to
get it.
materialize
Everything needs to
into.
be prepped. you know?
Justin, these guys, some of these guys, they need everything written down for them.
Hey,
Guys like us,
meticulously write
Justin.
down everything.
Yeah,
Oh.
guys like Justin and I, we remember. We have a way to remember things.
This is going to materialize into having like 8 picks, and when they're all taken, you're going to make us wait 2 minutes for you to actually make your pick.
And I'm sure we'll hear you whine about it.
Oh my gosh! All right, let's get this started.
All right, let's do it.
Everybody, shout out a number 1 to 100.
69.
72.
35.
I'm going to take 7. All right, Raven, you're watching this, Raven.
Yes, I'm watching.
All right, random number generator.
Do you want me to reveal it?
Yeah.
It is 88.
It is 88. Patrick Kane.
Ugh.
So Lee.
Wait, the random number generator was 88?
Yeah, it was.
It's destiny, man. That's crazy.
Destiny.
Okay, so Lee gets the first pick, Justin gets the second pick, Raven gets the third pick, and I get the last pick. This is a snake draft. Remember, so I will get 2
Putting a
picks,
curse on him.
and then we will move from there.
Okay.
Defense.
The Mount Rushmore of hockey sounds.
I'm going to start with my favorite. I think what makes hockey unique. I'm going to do the skates cutting through the ice.
Oh, okay, cool. Nice.
It's my favorite.
Not what I would have taken, but that's cool. That's fair.
That's a terrible
good one.
pick.
It's
I mean,
not.
it's not a bad pick. It's not my first one, but that's a good pick. Bar down, ski. Going in off the crossbar, off the post, in the net, bar down. Yeah.
Let's say the crash of the boards.
You have to be more specific than that. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Someone getting checked into the glass.
Somebody getting checked into the boards.
Okay.
The crash of the glass.
When someone gets checked into the boards.
Yes.
Yes. It's very important because there
This
are
is
other
what's
noises
going on the graphic. This is I am right. I am confirming with everybody what is going on the graphic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Justin, what was yours again?
Bar down.
Bar down.
Yeah, people know that sound, right? Yeah. You don't need to put post crossbar. They get it, right? Yeah.
But are you picking puck off the post or crossbar?
Just bar down when a puck goes off the top, like crossbar post in the net.
I know what bar down is, but I'm just saying.
Tassos is trying to figure out if he can also say the puck hitting the post.
Yeah.
Oh, and like when it doesn't go in the net.
Yes.
So like from a goalie perspective, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
that's fair.
you are including that in yours?
No, it shouldn't be.
Oh,
It should not
it's
be
not
included.
No, that's a difference. There's a
Yes,
difference.
He
There's a
said bar
difference.
down.
Okay.
Post
Yeah,
and
it's
in.
a
That is
different
still in the
different sound.
draft. That is
Yeah,
still in the
because
draft.
you're hitting the net too. It's a
Yep.
difference. Yeah, a different sound. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. There's a couple here. I'm gonna take stick slapping the puck.
Ah.
And I'm gonna take goalie pads making a save.
Mm.
Okay.
Back to me. It is
Ben.
going to be the crowd erupting at a goal.
Is this a Raven pick or a Tim pick?
This was a Raven pick.
Like a crowd pop. Yeah. It's good.
Crowd pop. That is what's going on the graphic. All right, Justin.
Well, I'll stick with my theme I've started to create here. Just the goal horn when you score a goal. Boom.
Good
And
one.
then Chelsea Dagger starts playing. Boom.
All right, Lee.
I've got 3, but I can only choose 2.
Well, that's good because we're not even halfway through this yet.
I am going to go with the crowd going silent after a goal you score
Ooh, like the away side.
the away side.
Okay.
So your sound is silence?
That might be a.
It's like a
blunder.
it's like a it's like a like there's like a hush. There's
I
like a
guess
hush sound.
The
that
lack
comes.
of noise.
No. There's a hush sound. NHL players talk about it. Like there's a sound. There's a distinct sound when you score a goal in an away arena.
Okay, so we're doing hockey sounds, Mount Rushmore. My pick is no sound.
No sound. You know when
Get ready
everything
for
just gets really
24-hour live
quiet?
stream.
I am so blessed that I just do this show with the funniest people I've ever met. I mean,
You are, honestly.
you guys show up and are just consistently just comedians, and I don't know how you bring it every show with jokes like that.
Thank you.
I really couldn't have even, like, my pea brain could not have even fathomed a joke that good.
Well, dude, we're doing the Mount Rushmore of sounds, and you go
All right,
silence.
my next pick is going to be the noise a puck makes when it hits the board / glass.
Okay.
Make a
yeah,
joke about that, losers. Go fuck yourselves.
So Tassos, you pick stick slapping puck, but like I was thinking of a one timer. Is that kind of what you were going for there? Because I feel like that would be kind of similar. Is that
I think it's.
you know what I mean?
I think that's a little similar.
It's a little similar. So one timer doesn't count. Like a stick slapping puck, like it's like a slap shot. That's
I'm
what
talking
you're
about
going
a
for.
slap shot.
Okay, so that's that. Okay, that's fair then. Okay, different. That's a difference. Okay. Wait, isn't Lee still going here? Yeah. Doesn't he
No,
have
I
two
did
picks
it.
here?
No.
I did
Lee
too.
picked twice. Lee picked twice. You are up.
Oh, what was the second pick? Sorry.
His second pick was pucks against the glass.
Oh, my
boards.
bad. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't. I was still laughing from his previous statement that I kind of forgot about that. My bad. Okay.
Don't worry about it, buddy.
Oh yeah, no, all good there. Wow. Not the one timers taken. That was my next one. Now I gotta think of something different.
It's a pretty cool sound actually. Sound of a skate being sharpened. I always enjoyed that going to Gunzo's and bringing my equipment in and getting my skate sharpened as a player. That was always fun. Yeah.
That's a
Still
good
do that
one.
from time to time. Yeah.
All right, Raven.
From the Tim Tebow list, we have players chirping each other.
Ooh. Chirps. That's a good one.
Okay, so this is going to be the product of the Raven and Tim team and the fact that they're just going to be Google and AI answers, and because that's 1,000% an AI answer.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't have the experience of playing like we do, Tassos, and leave just watching. Yeah.
Okay, I have a few here.
They got ChatGPT up there.
I have a few here, and I've got 2 picks. Well, I'm taking the slam dunk patriotic one. You know, we're panning to the
Good
the
one.
audience, the national anthem.
Good
Oh,
one.
I didn't even think about that.
Okay.
What? Because I'm just thinking like any whatever hockey sounds. That's kind of anything, but fair enough.
Man, there's so many good ones left.
Yeah, I know. I've got like 4.
Yeah, you guys are worried about getting to 16. I'm like hockey sounds,
Yeah,
dude. We could
there's-
go forever
yeah.
with this. Yeah.
We could draft a whole team. We could draft the 20. Yeah.
The 22-man team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, that's a good one.
This is
See, now that it's narrowed down, it's now you
I'm
gotta be
gonna say
strategic.
the sound of the Zamboni.
I don't think that's a good one.
I think if you were a hockey player, I think if you're a hockey player and you're at an arena and the Zamboni's going, you have this sense of excitement about you. You're about to go out there. I'm sure even that extends even to the professional level of like getting yourself hyped up before a game and knowing when the Zamboni's out there. It's a good sound. It means people are using it, right?
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah.
Probably not the best pick, but
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do?
we're in the 4th round here. Raven,
I'm
what
gonna
do you
go.
got?
I'm gonna go with the controversial one for my last pick.
Oh gosh.
I'm gonna go with the ref whistle.
Ooh, that's a tough one. That's not a great sound for me. I hate that sound. That's the worst sound you could possibly imagine there when the play stops. I like a nice
I gotta
flow.
I gotta say though, when you're on the other side of that,
Yeah, true.
and you
Good
get-
job,
you get-
Raven.
You get the power play now.
Yeah, Raven. Hey, you guys are slandering my boy Raven. He came
that's
back.
fair. He had to come back.
There
ready
we
to
go, Raven.
All right. That's pretty fair. Okay, so I'm gonna bring it back to Tassos again because I feel like this just takes away any like contact with like puck or stick, and it just takes away anything like stick handling. Like there's a difference between stick handling, the sound that makes, and a slap shot or a one timer. Correct?
Yeah, I would say there's a difference. I would say
There's a difference there. So just the sound of stick handling, I could pick that. Just stick handling.
Yeah, you could, right? Yeah.
Right, that's fair. Right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
Is that
Okay.
your pick?
Stick handling. Yeah.
Stick handling.
Yeah. There's just nothing cooler as a kid, just on my couch, right, watching Patty King flying in the zone on a power play. This quick little stick handling. Like, he kind of revolutionized it from that aspect. Players weren't always. Now everybody's got to be a great stick handler. Yeah.
All right, Lee, what do you got?
Is this the last pick
This is the last pick
of the entire draft?
of the entire draft.
I'm not going to pick it, but an honorable mention would be crowd booing. I don't think anybody did that.
We can do honorable mentions after this. I have a list.
And like also like commentators, like goal. I don't know. Goal calls is a good one. I'm gonna go with tape. The sound tape makes when you're taping your stick and your shin pads and ripping, and I think it's a pleasing sound. So I'm gonna go with that one. The whoosh, when it's like
That's a
coming
good
off
one.
the roll. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. I can't even slander that one. Yeah.
Thank you, Justin. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me on this show.
I'm gonna say, nobody did like the bench doors slamming. That's an honorable mention. Nobody did skates at like stopping.
That's kind of what I meant. That was kind of what I meant.
Yeah, I kind of grouped that into what Lee
Yeah,
said.
skates cutting ice.
No.
Like
Skates cutting is like somebody's like doing
like,
like somebody's
C-cut
doing
or
like
edge work
C-cuts.
or-
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
And you're like cutting
you're just
into
thinking
the ice.
skating. Yeah. Huh.
That's a different
So-
thing.
I guess. I think people are going to see my answer and be like, "Yeah, you got it. That's what he means."
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. That feels one that's a little broad.
Well, good. I'm glad. I had the first pick. I took, one of the most common sounds that's very broad. Good.
Well, it's all right, dude. You also took nothing. So with your second pick, so it's all right. I'm not too
enjoy
worried.
the silence.
I
got barred down at goal horn. That's like all you need right there.
Lee, you want to put on a side bet of you not finishing last in this one?
Yeah, I'm not going to finish last. I think I've got a really solid one. I think yours and Tim Tebow / Ravens are worse than mine.
Okay.
I think mine are the best then.
I think me and you both have very good lists.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Lee. Thank you for complimenting my list there. Man, we're being all chummy now. What's going on?
You guys are so dumb. Like this is no. Lee picked silence and taping his stick.
That's good.
I don't know. We'll let the people be the judge of that.
I watched a video and, Justin wanted to do Patrick Kane talk. I literally just watched an interview where NHL players were asked this, and Patrick Kane gave the stick tape answer. So
there you go. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Well,
we'll see. We'll let the people decide.
Yeah.
I was also thinking of like pregame music, but like that's not really like. But like if we're doing national anthem,
did we do goal song? I don't think anybody said goal song.
I said goal horn, not goal song. There's a difference.
Dude, goal song. Damn.
Ooh, yeah.
Goal song is one that
we missed a lot of good ones. Honestly, looking at these, I probably would have done some more over. Skate sharpening is probably the one I would have taken out. But that's okay.
Ref yelling was another one I had on my list.
Not a great sound.
Coach yelling could have been another
Coach
one.
Yelling.
Yeah, there's a lot, man.
Organ music.
Organs. Too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
See,
yeah,
Pelico.
Does like NHL games, do they do like beer carts, like the guys going around by section yelling beer, or no?
It's not like a baseball game.
I was just say, I feel like that's more just baseball, but
yeah, guys walk around with the basket. There's no cart really because there's stairs.
You know what I meant.
Yeah,
they're like wearing it.
But the beer here call top 10.
The crack of a beer opening. What if I just did all alcohol answers? Like,
well, that's what I think. It's like we're ranking hockey sounds here, and like that's like a lot of good things that was said, but it's like these aren't. I'm thinking things are like they're just hockey, right? Not like any other sport, you know? Yeah.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's what we've got. We still have the awesome interview we did yesterday with Rudy Hodgson. So I'm excited for you guys to get to listen to that. But we're going to wrap the show here. Thanks so much for coming to hang out. We hope you enjoy the interview. Please be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow the Instagram, and also follow the TikTok and the Twitter. Give us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And as we mentioned a couple times throughout this show, we're going to be streaming the game tomorrow against the Jets, and there's also going to be college hockey on and maybe UFC after. We'll see. That's TBD. And then we're going to be streaming the games Monday and Tuesday against Montreal and Ottawa, so be ready for that.
All right, first Chicago Hockey Radio pre-recorded interview. Rudy Hodgson, current play-by-play of the Cincinnati Cyclones, and also former podcaster with the Alithio Network. But much more than that, Rudy is just a cool guy who works in this game and is one of the next up guys in my mind, really truly in the play-by-play sphere of pro hockey, and where wherever you want to take this, man, you'll be able to take this. But how you doing, brother? Welcome to the show. First of all,
I'm great. Thanks for having me back. It's great to see everyone. Tassos, know you guys a long time. I know behind the scenes. It's great to be here, and I wish we still had Forum Blues rolling. I really enjoyed doing it, but I definitely got myself pretty busy here with the Cyclones.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. You were living in Chicago, working for the Fire, doing play-by-play locally here, high school hockey, podcasted a little bit with us. Friend Jordan too, he's a good guy. Opportunity came to move to Cincinnati this year. You were like, ready to you just like kind of jumped at it. Like, what's it been like? How is the gig? Like, what is the gig like? Like, you're doing, we were talking about it, but you do so much more than just play by play too. So I'm just, curious how it's been.
It's been great. I mean, it was the craziest week of my life, truly. I mean, the fire season had ended maybe 3 days before I got the job, and the interview process between applying and getting the job, I wish I could joke around, but it was quite literally 3 4 days. Um, and because the season was just about to start, Dana Gray, who's now the play-by-play announcer for Rockford,
Mhm.
he was in my shoes doing my position last season, and he got the opportunity last minute, and then I got his opportunity here in Cincinnati, and so I had to move my life from Chicago to Cincinnati in about 8 days.
Jeez.
Find a place to live, pack up all my stuff. I mean, a real champion in this whole story is my girlfriend. I mean, Gina. I mean, she really did everything while I was out chasing a dream. And then, if that wasn't crazy enough, the Dodgers were in the middle of October, um, marching to the World Series. And anyone that knows me knows that I love baseball. So, between making my professional debut on the mic to watching a World Series in the most crazy fashion in the span of 3 days was probably one of the best weeks of my life. It was great.
Very nice. How has that gig been going? You enjoy being the play-to-play for the Cincinnati Cyclones? Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I mean, the organization is world class, and I know everybody will say that, but truly, the Cincinnati Cyclones are they do not run like an ECHL franchise. Like they really try to make minor league hockey as major league as possible. When you're in a market with the Bengals, when you're in a market with the Reds, like you're competing with a lot of Division 1 schools, and yet somehow we draw some really good numbers. The fans really care about their team, and in this first season, I'm really grateful that I was able to be a small part of this organization. In different ways, whether that be on the play-by-play or the PR side, like it's been a lot of fun. Some growing pains. I still feel like I have so much to learn, but it's been a real ride.
We had the opportunity a little while ago to go to a K-Wings game, and our buddy Holt, who kind of took us around the stadium and into the broadcast booth, kind of told us that like the broadcast team does a lot more than just like broadcast the game, compared to like the NHL level. Are there any like things or stuff you've been doing for the job that you maybe didn't expect to?
Yeah. So when I was at the Fire, I did a lot of digital hosting. I was on Apple and I was doing all that cool stuff. And when I got here, I knew that I would be doing some, maybe pre-recorded stuff, but it was kind of more like the social stuff that it was very new to me, like having to really put myself out there in a way that isn't broadcasting, like more like in-person hosting things, like doing behind the scenes tours of the building, like all that kind of little stuff that there's still entertainment value, but maybe perhaps a camera's not on. And usually when you're a broadcaster, you are hidden but through the veil of the microphone and the people watching at home. You never actually see people seeing you do your job. So that was very new, was hosting these events in person and having people immediately respond to what I'm saying. Well, that's making people laugh, or sometimes a joke falls flat and you're just kind of laughing to
You're
yourself.
bombing.
So you learn that you're not exactly Shane Gillis out there making people laugh on a whim. So that's been the biggest adjustment, is the um, also kind of like the response on social media. Like our fans have been very gracious. I was actually recently looking back at some of my early calls, and I was like, man, how did they hire me?
Yeah.
And then the fan base has just been really, really nice to me. They've been great to my family. They've been great to me. They've been great to Gina. Like we have people on the road giving us gifts. I've signed autographs, which is shocking to me.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
That's awesome.
So what are your goals, aspirations? Like, is this what you kind of want to do? Be like a full-time like broadcaster, maybe in even another level? Like, where do you want to take this? Yeah.
Well, I mean, every broadcaster's goal is to make it to the highest of highs in their profession.
Of course. Yeah.
I grew up watching Doc Emmerich. I grew up watching Bob Miller. I was spoiled with riches of Los Angeles broadcasting, and for me, I would like to take it as far as it'll take me. I'm a huge, huge believer that if you love the game, it'll find ways to love you back. And right now, for me, it's about being a student of the sport and like really learning the X's and O's, so that I can elevate my broadcast for the people at home. Cincinnati's not a traditional hockey market. They know the sport, but there's still a level of education there. And I'm still very much educating myself as well. So I would love to be in the National Hockey League, but it's not always the destination. It's the journey. So I'm really enjoying my time here in the minors.
That's an awesome perspective to have. I mean, you know, if you want to get to those levels, whatever your dreams and aspirations are, you want to be continuously getting better at what you do. I feel like, and we're kind of the same way. But when you're trying to get better, do you listen back to your calls? Do you listen to games over? Because like sometimes when I listen to the podcast back, I'm like, oh, dude,
I just hate the way it sounds.
Yeah, who would want to listen to me?
Well, with some of the takes I've heard on the show, yeah, I definitely
definitely you, Lee Crosman.
No, all joking aside, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was one of the biggest things that I had to kind of overcome was like, hey, listen, man, if you want to make money on your voice, you're gonna have to listen to your voice. Yeah. Sometimes it's a matter of like, I am my own biggest critic, like, and I have no problem saying that. Like, if I butcher a call or if there's something that maybe I missed, like, I will call myself out on it. But I think, like, I hate to say it this way, but there's a lot of people our age, because I'm assuming everyone is around 24 to 26, the same way I am, like, that don't like feedback, but I need it. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be open and receptive to it. And I'll never forget, you said Kalamazoo, their broadcaster came up to me, and the first thing advice he said was, don't be an asshole. Just don't be an asshole. Like, be receptive to learning, like, be open and willing to grow and change. Like, you know, you listen to Doc Emmerich's first call. He wasn't the Doc Emmerich we grew up loving. You know what I mean? Like, he grew into that. So I need to grow into my voice. However it goes, you know, I'm ready for that.
Rudy, awesome. what goes into a good goal call? And are there any that you're like figuring out or latching onto or workshopping a little bit? Like, what goes into a good call of a goal?
For me, it's all situational. You know, the goal call I have in an overtime winner is different than when we're down 7-0. So
fair enough.
Fair enough.
For me, what makes a good goal call is, it's a mixture of informing people what happened and also letting the moment be the moment. And it's a little difficult because I'm on a hybrid broadcast where I'm on Flow Hockey, but I'm also on the radio. So you need to have a level of descriptiveness while also letting the people at home that are visually seeing it enjoy what they're seeing.
Damn,
that's really hard to do.
Yeah,
it's like
a balancing
takes very
act.
Different talents. Yeah,
I don't have a color commentator, so it's quite literally just me. So it's hard, but it's also very rewarding when things go right. So I think what makes a good one is the initial score. Like, if you have a good initial score, like whether that be like, I like doing the scraggle in my voice.
Okay.
I like, it's almost kind of like finding a line between screaming and projecting. And I come back to we had an overtime winner against Toledo a couple of days ago where it kept our season alive. And I had to tell people, like, hey man, like, we almost got eliminated from the postseason, but we found a way to score in overtime to live another day. So, like, yeah, I think that's what makes a good goal call, is if you can find a balance between letting the moment be the moment, but also like having your own special touch to it. I think that's what makes a special call.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so, like, do you see so many goals, you know, you're calling all these games. Do you like still get emotional? Like, when it, you know, like, are you pumped when they score, and do you try to like lean into that during the goal calls, or like, is it all just like, you know, systematic, robotic, like, you know?
No, absolutely the opposite. I think the thing is I was very lucky that I actually didn't go to a blue blood broadcasting school. I didn't go to an ASU. I didn't go to a Syracuse, where like you're kind of taught how to do these things. And for me, it was just, I hate to say it this way because it kind of sounds pretentious, but for me, it was simply like, I love the game of hockey. It's all I've ever really called. If I can see a moment in front of me that's unfolding or can happen, like, there's a level of preparation, but there's also a level of like, man, I hope the game does something real special tonight. So like, I was calling games right down the middle in college. You know, when you're calling games for the SHL network or for these schools, like, you're calling it right down the middle. You know? If fans from both teams hate you, it probably means you did a good job because you were fair to one team and you were fair to the other. Whereas when I'm working for the Cyclones, like, the Iowa Heartlanders do not pay me to call their games, so I'm going to call games as if I'm a Cyclones fan for their fan base. That's who I'm calling games for. So yeah, I find myself getting really animated and maybe a lot more emotionally invested than I thought I was going to be for this first season. So, when we kept our season alive, man, like you would have thought I was on the ice scoring the goal. Like I was, I let the moment take me away from it a little bit, but it's good memories and it's also a good learning experience too for me.
Have there been any moments this year where you were like, the other team scored and you were like pissed off and like let anything slip or I don't know, said anything funny or that you shouldn't have?
Two funny quick stories. So the first one being my first 2 games, I got a Facebook message from someone saying, "You're calling the game too down the middle. You cheered a little too loud for the other team, and I didn't like it." And it got me thinking, like, what if Bob Miller went crazy when the Ducks beat us in overtime? How would I feel?
Yeah.
I wouldn't like it. So that's the thing. You have to be open and receptive to feedback, whether it's from your fans, whether it's from your boss, or whether it's from another broadcaster. Like it's all constructive and it's all with the purpose of making you a better broadcaster. So the other funny story is earlier on this season, I was trying to call a game and I was like, maybe perhaps a little too hard on the officials. And then I look back on it and it was a clean call, but in the moment, like, you don't think that there should be a call. And so like I've told people before that, like, if you hear me on the broadcast say, or like, oof, like that probably I'm biting my tongue.
Yeah.
I mean, so because I can't go out there and be like, oh, this person stunk tonight.
Yeah. You have to toe a line. Yeah.
I would like to keep my job.
Very fair.
Justin, you got something?
I was gonna say, transitioning away a little bit. I know you're a big LA Kings guy, right? Grew up in the LA area. Was doing the Foreign Blues podcast a little bit here for Lethio. How do you feel about the Kings right now? Looks like you're gonna face off against the Oilers again for the 4th straight season. Is the 4th time the charm?
You know what? It's a good question. I think they can do it this year. I sound like a broken record. Like I thought they could do it the last 3 years too. But I think the difference this year is home ice. I think the Kings are so elite when they're at Crypto.com Arena that they look like a different team. But you also have to look at what the Oilers have in front of them. They have a Connor McDavid that's we're not sure if he's at 100%, but when he is at 100%, he's by far the best player on the ice. So also the core of the Oilers, they were depleted in the offseason. They got older. Are they going to be able to last 4 rounds, much less 7 games potentially with Los Angeles? So I think the longer the series goes, about the Kings, because that probably means they're winning the games that they should be winning. Darcy Kemper is an upgrade from Cam Talbot. I think Quinton Byfield has taken a massive jump. But for me, I think what concerns me about the Kings is the old guard of Kopitar and Doughty and Lewis. I don't think I could take another season of Trevor Lewis on my hockey team, but I mean, he means a lot to the organization, and clearly they value what he brings, so they're playing him against my well wishes.
As a goalie, how do you feel about Darcy Kemper's like resurgence, like his numbers this year compared to years past? It's like crazy. Where did it come from? How do you feel about him? How do you feel about him heading into the postseason?
And maybe to like add to that, like how is it for a goalie, maybe at any level, to like, is it more mental than it is physical a lot of the times when we're talking about flipping the switch here between like a season where you're really off and a season where you're lights out, one of the best goalies in the NHL?
Well, goalies are cerebral. They're creatures of habit. You know what I mean? Like it really could be something as simple as the scenery or the system in front of you. You know what I mean? Like a lot of Kings goaltenders in years past have gotten away with perhaps average or below average play because of how defensively sound the Kings were in front of them. So that's why Cam Talbot had some inflated numbers. That's why Jack Campbell looked like he could have had a resurgence in his career as well. The Kings, of course, gravitating away from the 1-3-1 has sacrificed a little bit of their structure, but they're still really good in front of Kemper. And when called upon, he's been fine. So I think when it comes to Darcy Kemper, it could have been something as simple as a change of scenery, or perhaps the guys in front of them. When you get invested into the team and it shows, I don't think there's been many changes that I've seen in Kemper's game from last year to this year outside of the guys and the troops that he has in front of him. So I think a bigger question would be is, can the Kings blue liners, continue that in the postseason against a potent offense? Like, if you want to make it to the Stanley Cup final, you're going through Edmonton. You're probably going through either of Colorado or Dallas. And then in the second round, you might see Vegas. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's a gauntlet.
It is whoever makes it out of the West is going to be the most beaten up team.
Yep.
So, like, can the Kings, is that sustainable for LA right now? And for me, that's a question to be determined. The fan in me wants to say yes, but the hockey purist in me thinks that it's just too overwhelming of a path for LA.
That's fair. Who would you say would be your playoff favorite right now? What intrigues you the most about this playoffs?
I'm actually glad you brought this up because I commented on your post of what my tier rankings would be. I don't think this is the year for Toronto. I think that this is the best looking team that they've had, but I think that their playoff inconsistencies, it kind of puts them in the same tier as like the Winnipegs and the Washingtons, where they could if they string it together. But what's the ongoing trend there is teams that are pretty high up in their respective divisions that have seen the same bottom feeders all season long and beat up on them. But how does Toronto compare against the Tampas, the Floridas? Pretty tight games. Sometimes I'd be curious to see what their record is against teams currently in a playoff position. I can't imagine it's amazing. So that's what I think. I still think that whoever makes it out of Dallas, Colorado is making it to the final. Not surprised. I would not be surprised to see LA make it out of the Edmonton series. Vegas, I'm not too sold on, to be honest with you. I just don't think, I'm not sure Adin Hill can lead that team to the top of the hill again. No pun intended, but
very nice.
And I think the East is kind of a cakewalk. That's kind of maybe a hot take, but I think the East
West looks a lot better. Yeah.
The East is like, you know what I mean? Like, if Florida makes it, it's not going to be because they're the best team in the East. It's probably because they have the easiest path.
Yeah. Well, and the Metro is honestly just like not compelling at all. Like, I don't think there's a single true contender in the Metro. The only reason why you'd say like Washington or maybe Carolina is a contender is just because they're going to have the easiest route to the Eastern Conference Finals. It's not because they're like an absolute wagon that's stacked up at the trade deadline.
And think about who's coming up in the West as well. Who's the team that is 15 in a row? They just lost yesterday.
Blues. Yeah.
Oh my God, it feels
every team
like 2019 again, where they're just catching heat at the right time. And sometimes that's all you need. Binnington's a big game goaltender. You know what I mean? Like, try beating him in a 7-game series. It's the West is just too much of a gauntlet, and I think people are forgetting that in about 2-3 years, the Chicagos, the San Jose's, the Anaheims, they're going to be really good. Like, as a Kings fan, that's what I get worried about is the window looked open 2 years ago, but because of the adjustments that the league has made, at least as far as personnel, it doesn't look like their championship window is as open as it looked a couple years ago. It looks like you maybe have a good chance in the next 2-3 years, but look who's knocking on the door, man. I mean, it's a tough league, and it's only going to get tougher.
I'm glad you brought that up. We've talked about it a couple times on the show. I would love to hear from an LA fan's perspective, like, what direction do you want to see that team go? Because, I mean, Doughty and Kopitar are still good and playing at a very high level, but they're not going to be here forever. You mentioned these teams like the San Jose's and the Blackhawks and Anaheim, who are basically all starting to come out of rebuilds. What direction should LA go?
I mean, there are people a lot more properly paid than me to make those decisions for LA. From an outsider's perspective, I think the best thing right now is when the old guard retires, it's build around the guys you do have. And I know a lot of people have been critical of Trevor Moore's play this season, but I still think he's one of the most consistent forwards that the Kings have. Quinton Byfield is coming into his own. I think that LA needs to capitalize on its only draw right now, and that is something that no other team in the league has, and that's the fact that they are the Los Angeles Kings. And what I mean by that is like you sell players on the lifestyle. You know,
Yeah.
the tax stuff is microscopic. People try to make it a bigger deal than it really is, but like if a player wants to come to your market, they're gonna work around it. You know what I mean? Like go after the big fish. I mean, how did the Lakers and the Dodgers make their money? They go after the big free agents. You know what I mean? Like if somebody leaks through the cracks now with all the, you know, the RFAs and the UFAs and all that stuff, like give up some draft capital, do some offer sheets, like get weird. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's a reason why St. Louis looks this good, and it's not because of who they drafted. You know what I mean? Like they went after who they thought they could get. They got who they got, and they're coming into their own here late in the season. So I'd be curious to see what life is like after Doughty and Kopitar. I think obviously they're on the back nine of their career. I mean, they're probably on the last two holes, but it's been a fun ride for them. I hope they can get one good run out of them, but I think it's time to start thinking about life after them.
Rudy, I have a couple of rapid fire ones here for you before you go.
Hit me.
Top
You're
5.
good, guys. Take your time.
Top 5 goalies in the NHL right now. Who you got?
Ooh.
Okay. I'll start from best to fifth. I still think Connor Hellebuck is the best regular season goalie in the NHL. Postseason is a different story, but if you're asking me who I want to start game one with, it's probably still Hellebuck. I think you'd be stupid to not mention Shesterkin and Vasilevsky, so they're my 2 and 3. 4, I really am a big fan of Jake Ottinger.
Mm.
And my 5th best goalie, and this is a crazy hot take, but I mean, tell me you don't see Jonathan Quick 2.0 when you watch him play, but Dustin Wolf is probably going to get Shesterkin money someday in his career. Like he is that valuable. If he had 2-3 inches on him, he would be pause. He would be
That's exactly what I was.
He would
You said it for him.
Yeah, he would be I mean, I still think he should be in the Calder conversation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I mean, keep an eye on Dustin Wolf. He's probably not a top 5 goalie today, but for me, I think I would want him starting game 1 for my team.
Yeah.
Are you still playing yourself? Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I've recently got back into it. I've been playing a little bit more and more lately. I might strap him up for Columbia one more time just to do it one last time and then get a swan song and you know maybe beat up on Greece a little bit.
Yeah.
See,
Tassos,
how do you feel about that?
To be honest, I worry about, you know, your confidence going into next season play by play if we put 7, 8, 9 past you.
Honestly, man, I just don't see that happening, but that's okay. It's okay.
That's so fucking good.
So now that you're full-time play-by-play, you know, I'm sure you had a different lens watching the game growing up, and now that you're like full-time play-by-play, you're obviously not just looking at things from the perspective of goaltending. You're almost like a coach who's a former goalie, right? Like you can't just be a goalie coach. You have to be a team coach. You can't just, you know, talk about the goalies all the time, even if you may want to sometimes. But, you know, you have to know everything and, you know, be knowledgeable about everybody. And, you know, is your view on the game expanding a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of that stems from like the relationship building and being around coaches all the time. Like I've had some really good coaches here, Jason Payne, Chad McLeod, like they've allowed me in the locker rooms to watch film. If they've sat me down and like shown me their systems, like learning what 3-point pressure is, learning what the pistons are, you know what I mean? Like all that stuff, bumpers, low to high, like north, south play, like all the little X's and O's, like those are things that like elevate my broadcast, but they also like expand my Rolodex of vocabulary. You know what I mean? Like it drove me insane early on this season how many times I was saying, all right, puck is played along the boards in the near corner. You know what I mean? Where I could be saying like, there goes Parsons executing the 3-point pressure. What is the 3-point pressure? That's another like 10, 15 seconds of airtime where I'm educating someone on what that is. And it also kind of helps with like, you know, maybe explain to people like why the team does what they do. You know what I mean? Like you're always going to have the hockey fans that say like, shoot on the power play. But maybe if I could take 5 seconds out of my broadcast to tell them why they're not shooting and why they're setting up a play, if that stops one more person from saying shoot in my ear.
That's me watching Bedard every night.
Well, Justin, I'm glad I'm not watching a lot of hockey games with you. That would drive me insane.
Do you have any like Blackhawk slander takes that you'd like to get off your chest right now?
I also wait before you go and answer that, because I remember we put out a clip of, I think it was like me and Justin, or maybe it was me and you discussing like Kopitar versus Tays, and he was like, "It's
a good one."
Kopitar." So if you want to get that off your chest and explain why it's Kopitar over Tays, you can do that too here.
Listen, I think I've said this a million times before, man. But imagine if Anze Kopitar played for the Toronto Maple Leafs, if he played for the Boston Bruins, if he played for the New York Rangers, how elevated would his status be as a legend in this game? It feels like really only recently, maybe since 2015-16, we've started to really give Kopitar his flowers as far as what he's done to the league and what he's done for the Kings. So I think Jonathan Toews is a great player. And I think if I had one game, it was game 7 of the Stanley Cup final, and I needed a centerman, I would probably take Toews over Kopitar. But when you look at from day one to today, who probably had the more impressive career, I still think that edge goes to Kopitar. Both great players, both Hall of Famers in their own unique way, but I just think Kopitar, man, he's so hard to knock off the puck. He's so clutch too. Like it, and I'm also incredibly biased. I can admit that.
Yeah, that's a fair take, though. I think I said prime Tays, but longevity goes to Kopitar. I think that's totally fair. Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's really difficult always being right, guys, but I try my best to be.
Okay, also though, if Kopitar played for the Leafs, I don't think he'd be any bigger of a player because he would have never gotten out of the first or second round. So like I don't know if that's I don't know.
Yeah, but he would still be. I still think that he would be more beloved than some of the European legends that the Maple Leafs have. Like, I mean, think about it.
You're right.
Almost 20 years with the same organization, could have taken more money and left. Stuck around, grinded it out, won a few cups.
Tassos doesn't even like flinch when I do Leaf slander anymore. So it's like less funny now than it used to be, I guess, because I guess early days of this pod, he would be like, "Hey," and now he's just like.
I will say this though, guys. Honestly, I mean, the Chicago Blackhawks have been such a constant in my life when I lived in Chicago. I mean, I was there for 7 years, and I got to watch some really good hockey games and see some good guys shuffle in and out of those doors at the UC. So, I mean, as much as I have a little bit of a rivalry for the Chicago Blackhawks, I'll always have a soft spot for the Blackhawks. And that's actually because of 2014 Game 7.
Oh, shut up!
Boy. Oh, God. 11-year-old B was crying, man.
Get him out of here.
I think he really did something to me that day that really gave me a little bit of affection for the Hawks.
Yeah, now Albertius is playing for us. It's a crazy world.
Yeah, we still have fond memories of Heartbreaker, so the feeling's mutual.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. But unfortunately, we never got a round 3. I really wish we had.
Yeah.
But, Kings were too busy missing the playoffs after winning the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, and then we fell off of a cliff in like 2016 too. So,
Rudy, you're a pro, dude. Like you're through and through, just a true professional in this game, and somebody that like knows what they want and takes it really seriously. And yeah, man, you're welcome on this show whenever you want, whether it's live, whether it's pre-recorded, whether it's, however we got to squeeze you in, we're always happy to. So,
we appreciate you, dude.
Thanks for doing this.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy the last week of the regular season.
Thanks for having me. And seriously, I know you guys aren't going to be too busy here in a couple weeks. So if you guys want to watch some games and react to them, I'm okay rebranding the Instagram to LA Hockey Radio. I won't take it one way or the other. And I have fan applications for LA if you guys want me to email them to you.
We'll be in touch.
We'll stream some Kings games. Yeah.
I'll expedite the shipping to Rob and Luke.
Yeah, maybe we'll have Rudy on for a post game after an LA stream or something for the playoffs.
Hopefully, we'll build a stream more than 4 games when they play the Oilers.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I think if you guys had me on after a loss, I think I would actually give you guys some content for years. I think. You ever seen the video before I go of the the guy calling the football game late and his team gets a touchdown scored on him and he just starts screaming no into the mic.
Yeah, I've seen that clip. That's a great clip.
I think that would be me calling a Kings playoff game, actually.
That'd be
Very
electric.
nice. Looking
That'll be
forward to
fun.
it.
We'll
Yeah.
definitely stream some Kings games. in the first
ESPN,
round.
TNT, if you're watching, I do not mean that. I'll call it right down the middle.
All right,
That's so
Rudy
good.
Hodgson, thank you for coming by.
You're the man.
Yes.